day.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Hump Day, and welcome to the opening drive on 101 ESPN in St. Louis, where it is 7 o'clock in 3, 2, 1. Woof. 7 o'clock, your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. We're on early with you today. Brooke Grimsley is here. Danny Mack is here. Matthew Rocchio. I'm Randy Carricker, and we're set for a fun hump day. It doesn't even feel like hump day, which is great.
No, I had to remind myself this morning that it is a Uncle Randy day or a hump day as well. It is Wednesday. Did you have to sneeze for a second?
Yeah, I didn't, but I did, yeah. Yeah, it is Ask Uncle Randy Day. So we got that coming up in 15 minutes. We're going to have a lot of stuff going on here today. Talk about the Cardinal fifth starter who is going to pitch today. Andre Pallante will pitch for the Redbirds in Cincinnati as the Cardinals, after their 7-1 win over the Reds last night at the So-So American Ballpark, Cardinals are going to try to get to 500, kids. 27-27.
This would be the fifth time that they're trying to get to 500 overall, and this would be the first time they'd be over 500 in the Central Division. They're actually 6-7 inside the division. Hey, give them credit, man. They played well last night. They've crawled their way out of this big hole that they created. So, as I've always said, wait till about Memorial Day, and then at that point, you have a pretty good idea what this team is, and I think they're better than what we thought they might be. I really do believe that because the offense is starting to come together.
The offense is performing at a high level now over the course of the last couple of weeks. And I figured that Kyle Gibson would be pretty good. I didn't think that he would be this. I was hoping Kyle Gibson would be, and we talked about this a lot. I thought, okay, give me a 4.5 ERA. Give me a quality start every time out. But Kyle Gibson's better than that.
Oh, 100%. I thought, okay, we're getting these two innings eaters with Lance Lynn and Kyle Gibson. I'm sure they'll be fine. I was hoping they wouldn't be how they were, which it wasn't bad for Kyle Gibson last year. I know that Lance Lynn had some struggles as well, but I felt like that was more, especially with the White Sox, that was a down year for everybody with everything going on. But they both have been a really good, pleasant surprise.
Lynn, I was just looking at it, last 12 innings, he has a .75 ERA. If you go Gray, Gibson, Lynn, they've given the Cardinals nearly 200 innings at a 3.5 ERA. And, you know, you got to give Mo some credit here. Now, I don't give him credit on the fifth starter. You know, you're going with Andre Pallante tonight. You would have liked that to have been addressed if it could have been addressed in-house. You thought more of Zack Thompson. But give Mo credit. Also give him credit for the back end of this bullpen, too, in the way that they pitched. But Gibson has 11 starts of 6 innings or more now 8 times. I mean, that's what you signed up for, but maybe not at the level that he's had quality starts. So I think it's one of the signings in all of baseball that's kind of flown under the radar, and certainly one of the better signings in the game today.
His earned run average down to 3.6 last night. He gives you 6 innings, allows 1 run on 2 hits, walked a couple and struck out 6 through 95 pitches. And the Cardinal offense, as we mentioned, has come around. Nolan Arenado, a day after bearing his soul to John Denton, hits a 2-run homer. Gorman hits a 2-run homer. And the only Cardinal hitter that didn't have a hit last night was Alec Burleson, who's been your best hitter lately.
Yeah, it felt like maybe he just needed to get it out a little bit, and it's worked out for him, because the thing that he talked about the most is something that worked out in that game last night. He had a rocket to left field, as you mentioned, pulling the ball in the air, which is something that he had just talked about trying to do 24 hours ago, and he was able to do that. It felt like a huge sigh of relief for him to have that really just tough moment where he's bearing your soul, as you mentioned, to John Denton. He knows that that's going to go out to everybody, and then he's able to follow up with that performance. It just felt like it was a huge relief for him, and I'm sure the Cardinals as well.
He knows himself, though. I mean, to me, it's just a matter of time, and I understand that we put so much into the first couple of months of the season, but this is 12th Major League season. He's got to figure things out. He can't be on that precipitous of a decline to where it's an issue with him. It's an issue, I guess, for the first couple of months, but I bet when we get to the end of the season, the power numbers may not quite be where he's been normally, but this guy is going to put up numbers and help them get into postseason play if they get there.
And last night was quintessential Arenado. Head down, looked like a golf swing. And that's from his very first home run here, that first home opener. That's what intrigued me, was the way he keeps his head down and he gets the ball, the bat through the zone. And you talk about launch angle. He's got launch angle when he's going well.
The other thing, too, is no errors last night. And they are 6th in unearned runs. And that can be problematic over the course of 6 months. So 12 consecutive games without an error, Maybe they can match the 12 consecutive games with an error. That's what they had.
That's what they need, yeah.
You snap that, now you got 11 to go match what you just had.
And as we mentioned, Pallante is back today. He'll go against Frankie Montas, and it is a day game. 12:10 is today's finale of the series in Cincinnati.
His first start since 2022.
What are your expectations?
Not high for me.
Yeah.
I mean, 5 innings of hopefully decent enough baseball is what I'm hoping for.
I would be thrilled. If he can go 5 and allow 3, that'd be great. And I would assume that he's probably, even though he went down to stretch out, he's probably on a 55 or 60 pitch limit today.
He said he could pitch. He can go to 110 is what he said. By the way, have you guys seen the numbers with Blake Snell?
Yeah.
He finally came out and said, what this has taught me is that I need spring training. He said that. I mean, which is what you've talked about a lot, Randy, is with these guys like Jordan Montgomery who are out, obviously looking at Blake Snell. You need spring training. As long as it is for pitchers, you just got to have it. I think it's going to be fascinating to see the start with Pallante. He had walked 13 in 16 innings. Does that elevate when you get to the big leagues and you're trying to be too fine? Probably. But if I'm the Cardinals, I just say pound the strike zone and be aggressive. I know that's very cliche, but that's what I would tell them.
And here's one thing about today. Last night, you used King for 2 innings and Fernandez for 1. So you've pretty much got your whole bullpen available to you today, too.
That's exactly what you need, especially with Pallante. You mentioned he has a 2.20 ERA, and he has walked the 3 batters, so that's something that's very concerning. And while he's been stretched out, he hasn't gone longer than 5 frames in any of them. So that will be something to watch for tonight. So you really do need that bullpen.
So give us 5 and dive.
5 and dive.
Yep.
Been used a lot in Major League Baseball over the years.
It's the name of the game now.
It's not what I want to see, but game has changed.
Yep.
Game has changed. You just got to, you got to live with it. It is what it is.
It is what it is. Yeah. Just like the DH, somebody was saying the other day. Well, I don't hear anybody complaining about the DH anymore. Well, that's because it's here. But there are still situations where if a guy has thrown 6 innings and it's a 1-1 game, and it used to be that you would use that 9th spot in the order to pinch hit. The thought has gone out of the game. Now, it is what it is, but it's not changing.
Yeah, the other thing, too, is that you could pitch around the 8th hitter to get to the pitcher. And that could happen early in a game, too. So some of the strategy has been taken out, but it's here to stay. I'm looking forward to seeing what Pallante can do. If he's right, he's going to get a ton of ground balls today. And defensively, it'll be an infield that they'll put the best, like second base. Does Brendan Donovan start at second base instead of Nolan Gorman? I would look at something like that. I would put my best defenders out there on the infield if he's going to be right.
Gorman's actually been kind of impressive.
He's been fine for me, but you know what I'm saying? If you're going to get
Donovan,
your absolute best, then I think it's Donovan at second.
Yeah.
And then also for Gorman offensively, with him as well, bringing a two-run homer. It's a good thing that the bunt didn't work out in that situation.
Really. Next pitch. Holy cow.
Because then he followed it up with that.
That was great. One other thing, by the way, and Brooke got upset with me when she walked in, and I mentioned this, that after an off day tomorrow, we've got a National League Championship Series preview in Philadelphia as the Cardinals take on the Phils. She doesn't agree with me that the Cardinals are the second best team.
Okay, let's rephrase this. Dan, isn't he really good at just kind of repainting
putting you
the
in a
story?
corner?
Yeah. I did not get upset with you.
Don't put baby in a corner.
She said they are not the second best team in the league. The Dodgers are way better.
No, I did not say that. It's just that was what I was greeted with was, well, the Cardinals are the second best team in the National League. I was like, there's a couple of other teams that are pretty good, I do believe, Randy.
As you said they might beg to differ.
Yeah.
Phillies aren't hitting right now.
No.
They've lost, I think, 3 straight for the first time this year, so that'd be interesting to see this weekend, even though it could be, let's see, Sonny Gray will get one of those starts. Lance Lynn will get one of those starts. Who am I missing? Michaelis will probably get a start. So, yeah, go get him in that bandbox, too.
Yeah, really.
Not an easy place to pitch.
Last night in the NBA, Minnesota with a stay-alive win. They were down 3-0 to Dallas. They win 105-100, and Game 5 will be in Minnesota tomorrow. Ant-Man finally showed up. Anthony Edwards was terrific for Minnesota, and the big thing was Karl Anthony Towns, because he's been invisible in this series, and he showed up last night for Minnesota as well. The only chance they had was to have Karl Anthony Towns to play big like he is. The Dallas just doesn't have a defense for Karl Anthony Towns that's playing, but he wasn't really playing until last night.
And you couple that with Anthony Edwards, and they were outstanding last night with 54 combined points. Going back to baseball, I can't believe you guys haven't talked about the Negro League stats.
We were going to get to that later.
Oh, okay. I just figured to go baseball to basketball, then hockey, and then maybe to go back. I don't know. You run the show.
We wanted to get some of that stuff. We've got MLB storylines.
Oh, okay.
Here,
all right.
Later on in the show. And the Florida Panthers, with a win over the Rangers to even their best-of-7 series at 2 games apiece. Florida wins it last night in OT by a score of 3-2. And I don't understand what people are watching. Maybe it's just different. Maybe they have bad vision. I don't know. But I don't know how you can watch the Florida Panthers play and not think that Matthew Tkachuk is awesome.
100%. That was just what I was going to say. He's on the ice.
Believe that?
On the text line. Yeah, we've seen it.
Oh, yeah.
He's on the ice all the time.
Yeah.
He's out there taking people's heads off. And he's talented.
Yeah. Matthew, what was that stat the other day? 5-on-5, like late in the third period. He had been on the ice for something like 54 Panthers chances, and there have been 4 chances against. Is that right?
Yeah, I think it was just that game 2 or 3 of the series.
Yeah, game 3.
2. Yeah, game 3 of the series.
New York won in overtime.
Yeah, the full game. Yeah, he was on the ice for 54 chances for the Panthers, and he was on the ice for 4 chances by the Rangers. The guy is one of the most valuable players in the entire sport, and it's right now in the playoffs. It's not particularly close.
200-foot game, eh? Yeah, so it was 53. So in 21 minutes and 6 seconds, he'd been on the ice for 53 of his team's chances and 4 of the other teams.
Wow. Yeah, I think that is a lot. I don't know why anybody would want. Maybe you're jealous. I think that's the only thing I can think of is that you're jealous that you don't have Matthew Tkachuk. That would be my only way to see what they're talking about.
If you're a Flames fan, you're going, really?
Yeah, really.
And this guy made the mega deal. He is who he is. We knew he was who he was here in Calgary, and it wasn't going to work out there, obviously. But if you're a fan, you're just going, really?
Well, and granted, he's in a better place there than he would be here. But now, as it turns out, and this is 2020 hindsight, if you're Armstrong, you just call the Flames GM at the time, I think it was Brad Treveling at the time, and say, what do you need? And then if he says, I need these 3 guys plus 3 number ones. Okay, is that it? Anything else?
Yeah.
What do you need?
I would say, though, for the betterment of his career, the best thing for him was not to be in St. Louis.
I agree 100%.
Mm-hmm.
There's just, it's not easy being a hometown guy and playing in St. Louis or wherever home city that you're from. It's just not. I mean, you have all the ticket requests. You got the requests away from the ice or the field, the basketball court, whatever. It makes it tough. And I've heard from some guys what they've done. They tell mom or dad, just you handle all the ticket requests. I'm done with it. Basically, you're going to work as my marketing managers, and I'm just focusing on what needs to take place on the field.
I don't know if he could do that with his parents.
Right, good point.
But here's the thing. He can come back. He can sign here as a free agent when he's 30 and has a cup or 2 under his belt, and life will be a whole lot easier as a 30-year-old walking in here than a 23-year-old.
Still don't see it. I still don't. I think he's probably got a great setup down in Florida, and I would bet the Panthers would say, no way are you leaving this franchise. We're going to make sure that it happens, that you finish your career here.
Yeah, Edmonton said that about Gretzky.
That's true, too, but then they weren't dealing with bankruptcy either.
That's true.
For I'm talking about when the Kings did it.
So the Panthers and Rangers are even at 2 games apiece. Today is Ask Uncle Randy Day. You can get your text in right now. If you have a question, the weather's going to get warm here in St. Louis. You're going to be spending time outside. Maybe you've got somebody that you want to ask out. And Ask Uncle Randy is here to provide you with answers. 314-399-9646. 314-399. Yo-ho! Ask Uncle Randy's coming your way. You want to do it now or later?
Well, I don't know if I'm really feeling it, but I'll get it out of the way. Yo-ho.
There it is.
There you go.
Stands yo-ho of the day here on 101 ESPN. It's time for Ask Uncle Randy. Get your text in to the Air Comfort Service text line. Oh, by the way, if you'd like to watch us on our Air Lions Team studio cam, all you need to do is hop onto the old YouTube, youtube.com, type in 101 ESPN STL, and Brooke and Dan and Randy and Matthew. We're all here so that you can watch us perform this sensational show every day. Matthew, what do you got for us on the old text line for Ask Uncle Randy?
Dear Uncle Randy, would enlisting the help of our neighbors' children, whom we don't know that well, be a good option for watching our dogs while we're gone for 10 days on vacation in a few weeks? We thought this might be a good icebreaker, but I also don't want to create room for catastrophe.
Ask the parents and find out. I don't know how old the parents are. Brooke says no way.
No.
But if the kids are responsible teenagers, yeah, I think that you can do that. Yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah, you do it.
Really?
Sure.
Yeah.
I think it comes down to
you
the.
don't know them that well.
That's why you have to ask the parents first.
Yeah, the parents will make sure that the job is done. So if you
Okay.
think that they're responsible, then they'll make sure that the kids are responsible for that animal.
Yeah. And I think the ideal age for this might be like in that 11 to 15 range. Probably don't want the 18-year-old or the 17-year-old that can drive and forget. And you don't want somebody who's, but the parents might help if it's like an 8-year-old or whatever like that.
How close is said neighbor, too? I think that helps.
I think
said
that's
they
the
don't
biggest
know the
thing.
kids
Do you
particularly well.
Yeah, if you don't know the children that well, I assume maybe you know the parents.
No, I meant in
Maybe.
proximity.
Oh, I thought they were neighbors, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, you could be a
next
neighbor
door.
that's,
Yeah, right.
you could say it's another block over.
I would hope it's
kind
like
of a neighbor.
next door neighbor.
How do you define neighbor?
Next door is sometimes
next door?
how I view it.
The block over counts.
Yeah. So I'd be a little concerned about that. But if they're right next to me, then let's do it. Hire
block,
those kids.
Block over is easy. You just walk through the backyards. It's easy to get a block over. And if you're talking like this down in the city, just walk through
Our
the backyard.
guy, our guy Chris Bauman, who was going to try the St. Louis suit against the National Football League, convinced a judge that where the new stadium was going to be a mile away was adjacent to the dome.
Yeah.
I guess it just depends. I would just be a little bit worried because that's 10 days, and you think it might be a good icebreaker. So I don't know how well you know these neighbors. I would have to know the person really well to let them watch my dog for 10 days because I'd be really concerned that they would lose the dog. Maybe they forget to feed it one day. You just never know what could come up.
Who's watching your dog when you're gone?
David's parents.
Oh, okay. So you have in-house help.
Yeah, it'll be a good icebreaker as well for his parents to watch them.
Yeah, that'd be
no, I'm
great.
kidding. Yeah, they've watched Stevie before. She's a good girl.
Ask Uncle Randy. I work an 8 to 5 job, and my wife is self-employed, in which she can set her own hours. There are some weeknights she can stay out as late as 10 p.m. or 11 p.m., causing me to wake up and affecting my night of sleep. How do I deliver the message that her lifestyle is affecting mine, or should I just put up with it?
You put up with it.
You're sleeping too much.
Yeah. So she can be out till 10?
He said he works an 8 to 5 job, and he's like, she could be out to 10 p.m. and mess with your sleep. You don't need to go to sleep at 10 p.m. if you're for an 8 to 5. Come on, buddy.
It's, and I don't know why that would be affecting that. That should be something at this stage. I would think that you're married and she has her job and you have yours. That should be something that is reasonably well established. I came home a lot of late nights and didn't wake anybody up, so I don't know why it would be such an issue now.
You used to come home at like 1,
2, 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did the sports with Big Bumper.
Yeah, right. Yep. And then I would write the sports for the morning, and I'd get out of there at 1:30, get home at 2, watch a movie.
Sleep till 11.
Yeah.
It's perfect. Those were the great days.
Yeah. So, but I guess to answer the question to you, this is a you problem, not a her problem. She's got her job. She's self-employed, and that's her gig. So for me, her having a job should not negatively affect your lifestyle, but that's something that you have to deal with, not her.
Yeah, I would just talk it out. Are we heading towards separate bedrooms? Is this where you see this conversation going?
It sounds like he's waking up because she's not there, right? Is it? Did you
I
get
guess
that?
so.
Yeah. So it's I feel bad, but this is a you problem.
Somebody said he can't sleep because he is worried about her.
Aw.
Well, come on.
What's wrong with that, Rocky?
You're worried about another adult staying out till 10 o'clock at night? Like, what are we doing here? They're an adult.
11.
They're an adult. They can handle themselves.
Now, she
Well,
working
yeah.
till 10 o'clock at
Yeah,
night?
she's self-employed, working till 10
Okay.
at night, yeah.
Or she's self-employed and she has flexible hours, so she's like goes out to like hang out with like friends or something like that. I don't know.
Could be.
Either
But
way.
either way.
Dear Uncle Randy, I have a great relationship with my ex-wife, but recently she's been asking for a lot help. Yeah. Excuse me. She's been asking for a lot of help with things around her house and other favors with the kids. I'm always happy to help, and I'm glad we have such a good relationship, but things are becoming taxing, and it's a little bit too much. How do I remain helpful and supportive, but also she's got to figure things out on her own?
That's a tough question because ultimately when you're helping her, you're helping out the kids. That's what it's all about. And when she's doing things to help out the kids, say you're more than happy to help out. But she is your ex-wife for a reason. And so I would suggest that one of the things that you do is if she asks you to do a certain chore around the house, because it sounds like you're becoming chore guy, I say, I'm sorry, I'm busy. I'm not going to be available to do that for you. But here is the name of the handyman at Ace Hardware.
Can I go back to the 10 o'clock one?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yes.
Self-employed, right? Do we know, though, that she's working till 10 or just going out all the time until 10?
I don't know.
He says she's partying with friends until like 10, 11.
Oh, all right. Randy, you want to go back and talk about this?
I would say that either way, you have to analyze this. It's a you problem.
Okay. All right.
It's a self-analysis is important here.
Self-analysis is important here.
My girlfriend of 7 months is upset that she hasn't met my kids, who are 8 and 5. When is that meeting supposed to happen?
A month ago.
Oh, damn.
A month ago.
Yep. Yeah, 7 months. Come on. She hasn't met your kids who are 8 and 5? Come on, 7 months.
I can understand being very cautious with introducing somebody to your
Well,
kids.
she wants to meet them, right?
I'd wait a little bit longer, maybe.
It's 7 months.
Yeah, but still, that's
What's
your
going to
kids.
be the difference between 7 months and a year?
You have to decide. I'm sure maybe, and I'm just assuming here, if he wants to maybe introduce to his kids somebody who he knows is going to be in their life for a while, and maybe he's just not there yet.
7 months. I mean, when's he going to be there?
What would be the cutoff, Randy, for, like you say, 3 months? Does it need to be 2 months? You know, when do you say it's okay?
I think 6 months is a good gauge.
Give it a half a year.
Yeah, I think that you should know how you feel about somebody after 6 months. If you don't, then I think you really have to self-analyze.
Is that going to be your advice?
Yeah.
Once
But no,
again, self-analyze.
I think she's been your girlfriend for 7 months, and if you think there's something there and you're at 7 months, I say introduce the kids to her. Absolutely.
Can I go back to the 10 o'clock one again?
You really want to get back to this one.
I just, what if...
Dan hones in on one. Ask Uncle Randy doesn't
Dan's
stop.
got some suspicions here. You can go,
Well,
Uncle
I
Danny.
just, I just look at it and I say, you're out till 10 every night? Yeah, I don't know, man.
Every night does seem like
That's a lot. And even if you're hanging with friends and doing your social activities, I think maybe you should spend more time at home.
I wish I knew what the job was. That would help.
That would help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe she's in the service industry. She could be a waitress or
exactly.
something like that.
Yeah.
Now that's different. I'm in.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
Who is self-employed in this one? This story has me so thrown off. Is he self-employed or is she
She's self-employed.
Yeah.
She's self-employed. He has an 8 to 5 job. Because she's self-employed, she can be more flexible and go out with her friends at night. He wants to be in bed by 10 or 11.
Okay.
I think that was one of the problems that Katy Perry had with that British guy.
With that British guy,
Who's a
Russell
British-
Brand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wanted to go out and party, and she wanted to be a homebody.
Yeah, knowing Russell Brand, what we know about him now, I feel like that was not the only issue in the relationship.
Oh, really? Okay.
Him being off his rocker.
Yeah. Somebody else had that issue recently, but
I mean,
yeah,
it's not uncommon.
No, so
Oh my gosh, this text line. Stop it. You guys know who I'm talking to on the text line.
are terrible.
Stop it.
You guys are terrible. Dear Uncle Randy and Aunt
Bad.
Brooke, we all know that saying, we will meet the right person when we least expect it. It seems to happen to me a few times when I am talking and truly have a conversation with a beautiful woman. I don't realize that it is my time to ask for her number. That's not what. Okay. Until it is too late. Is there a way to better understand those situations so I don't keep missing out those opportunities? Can I just say something?
Yeah.
Sure.
The situation he's talking about is not what that phrase is referring to. Like he's saying.
So he thinks
We will meet the right person when we least expect it. That you're talking about two different situations. So let's just the one he's talking about. How do you know it's the right time to ask for a number before it's not 5 minutes afterwards? Because that's what it seems to be his bigger issue.
Okay, and Brooke, what would your suggestion be here?
My suggestion would be not to push it too much. I think that then once you start pressing, you could be like the Cardinals offense early on, where then you're overthinking a little bit too much. I think that you just continue to live your life, and you will meet the right person. I think you just have to be really open to it, and when it comes to figuring out those signs, just be nice and courteous when approaching that person. And I think that it works out, because I think it is true. I don't know how it was for you guys, but it really did happen for me when I least expected it.
What about DM on the social medias?
There's a play.
Or
you,
swipe.
You don't force the issue. What's swipe?
Like on
Tinder.
a dating app. Swiping. Swipe right.
Swipe left, swipe left for
that's-
left
swapping.
is,
You guys hit just a hole in Danny's
I think it's
knowledge.
It's been a while for me,
black
Randy,
spot.
since I used a dating
right,
app.
right. I don't know.
Right swipe is good, left swipe's
bad.
bad. Unless, there's like one app that came out that like made you do up and down.
Okay.
Because it's like, we got to be different.
I've never. Okay.
We have to have a hook.
Sliding into the DMs.
Only the girl
That
can
is-
respond.
That is,
This one's the
that is
professional
new way
one.
to
That's a
do
new
it.
one, right?
That was Bumble.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Sliding into the DMs.
Yeah.
I need
There
to
you
know
go.
how many times this has worked out for people. If it's done right, don't be creepy and where you're doing it too much. Maybe there's like something like you see her doing an activity or something like that, then you're like, oh, I also like to do
So
that.
if you think the recently available J-Lo is the one for you, don't slide into her DMs, because she's probably got you've got a lot of competition there.
Somebody said, do not slide into the DM. I guess no. I guess you don't do that. It depends.
Isn't that how it's done now?
It depends. Isn't that romantic? My parents had a beautiful love story where my dad saw my mom in the library, and he started going to the library so that he could finally meet her. And now it's like, yeah, I saw your mom on this app and I liked her photo, and that's how we met.
I asked her for a phone number one time, and she was like, that. She's like, really? She goes, most guys just slide into my DMs. And I was just like, no. I thought I was like, I don't know. Going classic, I guess.
314, I slid in the DMs, married, 8 years, 3 kids.
Wow.
How about that?
Yeah.
There we go.
Success
Hold the J.
stories.
Hold the J. There it
Yeah.
is.
Okay. Good. Proud of you.
Does anybody meet anybody in a natural, organic way anymore?
No.
Rockio, did you meet your lady in a natural, organic way?
No, we
You slid into the DMs.
no Bumble.
Oh.
Yeah, Bumble.
That's
the
where
hell is Bumble?
Bumble is where the girl makes the first move, Dan.
Oh,
You
wow.
match, but then she has to message you first to like open up the conversation.
Good.
So let me ask you
Like
this.
I said, they all have different like hooks as to like why they're different
Dan
from the
is
other
so
apps. Dude, I love the way Dan locks into topics. This is
No,
great.
I'm curious.
Do this for the next hour.
Had you guys met before?
No.
Or, oh, so it's like you put your profile on
Yeah.
something?
It was completely random.
That's how I met my
Interesting.
significant other on Hinge. So mine was Hinge.
Which is the
That's how you met?
relationship
Yeah.
one. The hook.
Yeah,
That's the hook.
that's the relationship.
How'd you meet
one.
Joan?
Work.
Yeah.
We didn't have the internet back in those
You didn't
days.
send her a letter.
Yeah, didn't have phones.
I didn't have the internet
No,
either.
So just had to do it the natural. Not that I was in a library, but the natural organic. way.
natural
So any
organic
more
way.
questions about the woman working?
The weirdest
just
And, I'm still trying to digest it all.
Comprehend.
Yeah.
I would see if she's on any of those apps.
The weirdest part of my generation had to be the time when I figured out that if randomly on Instagram, if it just pops up that somebody liked a photo that's like a week old, just DM that person. And it's the success rate is astronomical.
say that again?
If somebody randomly just likes like a photo on Instagram or Facebook from like
yeah.
a week ago, maybe not one from like the last day, but if it's like 3 days ago, a week ago, DM that person right then.
Okay.
The success rate is astronomical.
Really?
They liked that photo for a reason.
Let me ask you a question about
Maybe
this.
accidentally, but for a reason.
Dan's so excited about this.
So when you do this on a dating app or Bumble or
Yeah.
whatever it is,
Look what he can do.
do you have you're supposed to have an updated photo, right?
Yes.
Oh, but Dan.
But
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
but
the-
Dan, there's more to this.
Yeah, that happens.
okay,
You get
you know where I'm going.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's pitfalls, of course. Obviously.
All right.
Yeah, that happens.
Okay. All
Very-
right. I just was curious about that. Then how do you get through that? How do you know that this is truly you?
You have to meet them in person. You have to go on a date with
You
them.
gotta
and then
bite
be
that
shocked.
$30 bullet.
Wow.
So are women ever surprised that it's not George Clooney?
Something tells me it's happening more to women than it
Okay,
is to
so
men.
I don't know if this is true on Bumble, but back in the days when I was using Hinge, definitely not on it now, so I don't know if it's the same, but you could attach your social media profile to the app.
Okay.
So then you could verify it was a real person.
Some of them started like making it that you had to like sign up with like a social media so that there was a little bit less chance that you were a bot or phishing or scamming and
or
all this
using
stuff.
old photos.
Yeah,
or
but
if
I know
they have
I know
a
Hinge
significant
did.
other
I think
that they're
other ones
hiding.
did.
That's
Oh, that's
another
a
That
one.
one happens all the time.
It
Yeah,
happens
that's
all
the
the
story you
time.
hear all the time.
Yeah.
It's a fun-
Randy, have you
it's a fun
digested
world we live in.
the 10 o'clock one?
Not really. No.
Yeah.
Danny's still not over that one yet.
That's,
Any
We
other
did get a
dating
text.
app
We did get a
questions?
text that pointed out a very crucial part of the opening text. She goes out and parties some nights, not all nights.
I met my wife on Zoosk.
I've
Zeus.
I saw the commercial for that one time.
I've
What
not.
is Zeus?
Zoosk, right?
Yeah, that's what the 515 says here.
Effective advertising, I guess.
Okay.
I don't know that one.
Zeus.
Bumble.
I used like 3 in my time, so I'm not exactly.
There's
a
Bumble,
veteran of it.
Hinge, and then Tinder's on the way out.
Those are the only 3 I knew
Tinder's
about.
gone? Leaving?
This is you can't find this on MySpace, I guess. Okay.
No, you can't.
That,
All
that
right.
one's long
Facebook
gone.
tried that, but I don't know anyone who actually uses the Facebook one. Get out of here. Come on. If you're doing that one.
Here's one from the 314. Met my significant other playing indoor soccer. Sports for the win. It is.
That could happen.
Yeah, good deal.
The natural, organic way, as I've been saying, of meeting.
Yeah.
Yes. Face to face, you meet somebody. Maybe you get set up by somebody. That could happen too.
Again, you do that, and then you ask for the person's phone number, and they say, usually people just slide into my DMs, and you're just like, what the hell? What is the point of doing it face to face then?
Wow.
Social media has made us less social. I just want to throw that out there where
sure.
that's what's happening more.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm just flabbergasted by all of it.
I am
learning
too.
so much today.
I am.
So now you'll go home to your kids and say, oh, I learned all about the Hinge today.
Well, they're on like these different
Don't
things.
say that to your kids like that.
I
Snapchat.
know, I was joking.
Instagram's the big one for them. That's the big one. I don't know if your kids are on that stuff nonstop. You know,
The gram, yeah.
yeah.
Stay tuned to like 9:15 when Randy turns to Dan and just goes, hey Dan, have you figured out that whole 10 p.m. thing yet?
Here's one other suggestion. If 8 to 5 guy, say, hey, I'm your husband. You want me to come out and party with you?
He has to be in bed by 11. He has to sleep for work. He needs 8 full hours.
Just hire a private investigator.
Oh, okay. Well, could
Should
do
I
that.
be saying that? Oh.
Brooke finally listen, we
Okay.
all danced around it for 15 minutes. Brooke just took the drill and went straight to the middle of this whole entire
So
situation.
that you're not caught stalking.
That's what it is.
You hire a private investigator,
Okay.
which, I mean, that is stalking, but you're getting paid
But
to
somebody
stalk.
else does it for you.
Legal stalking, though.
Okay, is it legal? I guess.
Yeah, why not?
Randy, I think you can meet him at the Fenton Bar and Grill.
Oh, doctor.
Ding.
Yeah, sports for the win.
You know, go get some trashed wings
Best trash wings you'll ever have.
and then look at some of the specials they may have that day.
Oh, man. Especially like you get to this time of the week. Tomorrow they're going to have that gumbo.
Oh, you meet over gumbo.
It's absolutely fantastic. It is the opening drive. Thank you very much for your texts. Coming up, May is drawing to a close, and there are a lot of interesting MLB storylines next on 101 ESPN. Hey, did you know that if you're a City SC fan, you can get your exclusive City SC debit card from Together Credit Union? Together Credit Union is the only place to find this official fan debit card, and it comes with incredible perks like a free lifetime My City Plus membership. Comes with in-stadium discounts on food and beverages and merchandise at City Park, and most exciting, express entry into City SC matches at City Park, so you don't have to wait in line. And as a special bonus, Together Credit Union is sending you a commemorative print of City Park, the home of St. Louis City SC, while supplies last. How do you get the card? It's easy. There's multiple ways. Open any personal checking account online at togethercu.org or stop by any of Together Credit Union's 14 local branches and choose the St. Louis City SC debit card at account opening. There's no cost for the City SC debit card, so don't wait. Sign up today and show your pride for City SC with the City SC debit card from Together Credit Union. Membership eligibility required, federally insured by the NCUA.
Cardinals take game 2 yesterday. This is Matt Rocchio with your Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. Cardinals take game 2 against the Reds yesterday, 7-1, thanks to homers from both of the Nolans. They will look to take this series with a 12-10 first pitch against the Reds this afternoon. Andre Pallante will be on the mound for the Cardinals today. The righty is 0-1 on the season with a 6.3 RA through 10 innings pitched. He faces off against the righty for the Reds, Frankie Montas. Montas on the season 2-3 with a 4.61 ERA. Last night in the NBA playoffs, the Timberwolves stave off elimination. They are down 3-1 going into Game 5 on Thursday. And in the NHL playoffs, the Florida Panthers take down the Rangers in overtime 3-2, and they tie up that series 2 games apiece. You can catch Oilers and Stars Game 4 on 101 ESPN tonight. Pregame starts at 7:30. That is your Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
A lot going on as we close in on the end of May in Major League Baseball. We're about a third of the way through the season. Teams have played more than 50 games now, and there are a lot of interesting things happening. We talked earlier about Mike Schilt and his Padres, and they've got some interesting players that he's getting to play well. Donovan Solano, former Cardinal farmhand, who's bounced around a little bit, had a great year last year with Minnesota. He's been a giant in the past, and Solano is playing well. Manny Machado just can't get it going. A 654 OPS for the Padres, who, oh, by the way, are still over 500. But Jeremiah Estrada was an A.J. Preller waiver claim for the Padres back in November. And last night at Petco Park, he struck out all 3 Marlins he faced. They were his 11th, 12th, and 13th consecutive strikeouts. Jeremiah Estrada of the Padres with 13 consecutive Ks.
Ooh. Good gosh.
So Mike
unreal.
can find these guys.
The Padres have not been playing well at home. They're starting to turn that thing around, and I guarantee by the end of the season they'll be in the hunt for a wild card. Mm-hmm. I don't think they'll win the division because you have the Dodgers and they're a juggernaut, but winning at home will be a big key for them. They've been great on the road. They've been one of the best road teams in baseball.
And they're kind of like the Cardinals with Arenado and Goldie, in that Machado and Tatis really have not stepped up and been great yet.
Yeah, I'm happy for Mike Schilt in that situation. I'm glad that he got another opportunity there.
And he's He is raw and honest about the players.
Yeah, when I see those post-game interviews, I'm like, yes, that is the fiery Mike Schilt that we were able to see a couple of times there. For me, the story that I'm watching, so we talked about the owners' meeting the other day with Rob Manfred, but some other interesting quotes came out. Did you guys hear what Yankees owner Hal Steinbrenner said? No? You didn't see what he said that? After that? Well, it was after that. He didn't have to go speak.
They're not going to spend as much money.
Exactly. He warns of lower payrolls after 2024, saying simply not sustainable for us financially. And so what does that mean for Juan Soto? And would that be absolutely crazy for the Yankees not to keep him there?
I think it would be crazy, but I thought this was a precursor to him laying down maybe the groundwork for start talking about a deal like, well, we're not going to spend as much money, so if you want to stay here, it's going to cost X. I mean, they've got some big bats that they're spending a ton of money on. Their pitching, by the way, has been magnificent. They've gone 15 straight games in which their starters have given up 2 or under. I mean, that's a major league record. So their pitching has been great.
And by the way, just as an addendum to that, the Yankees team ERA is 2.80. Second best team in Major League Baseball, the Phillies, are at 3.11. They're a third of a run a game better than everybody else.
Yeah.
I just think the timing of it is a little weird. Is it necessary to go out and say that when your team is doing so well?
Well, I think that I think it lays the groundwork on something with Soto, and they've got to keep him. And I think Juan Soto would agree that he was not at his best in San Diego, and it seems like he loves the big stage, which would make it Yankee Stadium and the New York Yankees.
And I wonder if this is a shot across the bow to Boris and other agents. If the Yankees aren't going to spend as much, then what's everybody else going to do?
Yeah. Offense is down across the league. League average is 240. Could you imagine a time in which the league average was 240? But that's what it is. 699 OPS. Last season, the OPS was 734. The year before, it was 800. And because of that, ERAs are way down, about a full run. And that is significant. The ERA across Major League Baseball is under 4. So offense down, pitching has been better. And you've got, because of that, very, very quick games. The average time of games is 234, which is, I think, for some people what they want. And now that they've got it, other people are saying, man, I kind of like having that 3.5 hour game at the ballpark just to kind of hang around, have a beer, have a hot dog, have my sodas, have my kids run around the ballpark. Some people like it, some people don't.
I am fine with what we have.
I am too.
Right now.
Yeah.
It's a crisper game.
Yeah, it is.
Which is I'm fine with.
That's the main thing is the main thing. So make your product great. If you make your product great, you're going to be fine.
Yeah. 234. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. I think it makes it easier, especially if you're talking about engaging younger viewers. I can't remember exactly what the statistics were, what the percentage was exactly, but I mean, viewership has actually gone up, I believe, amongst younger audiences,
It has.
which is exactly what they wanted to do.
And the average attendance of games is way up in the first third of the season, which is something to keep in mind as well.
Yep.
You got more storylines? I'm ready to go.
Are you?
Yeah, I love these.
Well, we have 636. What do you guys make of Snell? I know that we touched on it a little bit, but obviously not a great year for him. And then he came out with those comments recently, as you mentioned, Dan, where he basically said that he realizes he needs a spring training, which I think he's not the only one, because you saw some struggles with Jordan Montgomery as well. This feels like a huge mistake by Scott Boras, and now the players are speaking out about it, where they kind of maybe felt a little bit duped into believing it would be okay.
I wish they had a deadline for this stuff.
Yeah, they need that.
And you can use it as leverage.
Just call it the Boris deadline.
Yeah.
And by the way, Boris got fired by Montgomery, did he not?
Yes.
He did.
So the thing is, when you have so many good players, somebody's got to be last in line. And Scott Boras has a lot of good players, but there's always going to be the last guy. And Boras always plays it close to the edge. He never signs guys before the new year anyway. And by the way, can I make one point here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When people say the Cardinals should have re-signed Jordan Montgomery last year, Scott Boras wasn't going to sign Jordan Montgomery during the season.
No.
Wasn't going to happen.
No.
Even though Jordan said that he would be open, and that was spring training last year,
Right.
Things changed very quickly.
Boras
Yeah.
wasn't going to do that.
Once you get into that final year of a deal, it's kind of like Tyler O'Neill. Tyler O'Neill, represented by Scott Boras, I believe. He's going to play this year out and see, once the open market hits, where he's going to land.
Right. Those are some storylines from MLB as we close in on the end of May. Coming up, we've got Take It or Leave It. Get your text into the Air Comfort Service text line 314-399-9646. 314-399. Yo-ho! Tioli next on 101 ESPN. All right, this morning, Nolan Arenado and Nolan Gorman are saying, you're welcome for the free donut at Schnucks. It's donuts for dingers in every single game the rest of the season. When the Cardinals hit a home run, you get a free donut at Schnucks the next day. All you have to do is download the Schnucks Rewards app, and if the Cardinals hit that home run, you score a free donut the next day at Schnucks, and the donuts there are delicious. Schnucks has the best bakery in town, so when you're watching the game and you see a Cardinal home run like you did last night for Nolan or Nolan, you know that you can go to Schnucks the next day for a free, freshly made donut. All you have to do is clip the digital coupon in the Schnucks Rewards app the next morning and make sure you have the Schnucks Rewards app downloaded and ready to go before you go, because you'll have to hurry. This is while supplies last. You already know Schnucks has the best donuts in town, and they taste even better when they're free. So download the Schnucks Rewards app, root for a Redbird home run, and get a donut the next morning at Schnucks. Donuts for dingers when the Cardinals hit a home run, only in the Schnucks Rewards app.
Time for Take It or Leave It.
Want to say something? Want to put it out there? If you like it, you can take it. If you don't, send it right back.
Get your text into 314-399-9646 and give us your Take It or Leave It.
Brought to you by Gloria Lou Realty. Visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com and start packing.
That's my final offer. Take it or leave it.
It is time for Tioli here on 101 ESPN with Brooke Grimsley and Dan McLaughlin and Matthew Rocchio. I'm Randy Carricker. Great to have you with us. All right, this was a big story this morning on Unsportsmanlike with Evan Cohen and Chris Canty and Michelle Smallman. Bronny James is going to remain in the draft and forego his remaining eligibility, but there are reports that he's only going to work out for two teams. Take it or leave it, LeBron has enough juice in the NBA to force Bronny to a certain team.
I will take it.
I might take it too.
I really don't understand why this is happening. I mean, I do. I understand it's LeBron James, of course, LeBron James. But at the same time, is this really what's best for Bronny is my question.
No.
I think you have to make, if the best for Bronny James is to somehow get drafted, he's also saying that he will not sign with a two-way contract. It's got to be a one-way deal. How does he get any better if he's not playing at a lower level and then eventually going up to graduate to the NBA? That would be my concern about drafting him.
Especially because last year at USC, he averaged 19.4 minutes a game, 4.8 points, 2.8 rebounds, and 2.1 assists. A lot of guys average that.
If I'm the Sixers, I might take a look at trying to do this. If that means I can get LeBron James and put Bronny at the end of the bench, I mean, how much is the end of the bench guy really worth anyway? If it, what's worth it is if you get LeBron James, who's still one of the elite players in the game. So if he's sitting at the end of the bench and doesn't play ever, so you're a man short. Who cares?
Yeah,
Bring him in.
I said that about Atlanta with the first pick.
Take him.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know. The number one isn't a clear-cut guy anyway.
This draft class is really down, too.
Yeah, so consider LeBron James your first overall pick.
When I'm saying that, is this what is best for Bronny James? And maybe Bronny is completely fine with this, obviously, if he's, turning down other teams. But at the end of the day, yes, you get LeBron, but I'm just thinking about, is this what's best for Bronny? Is this really, everybody is going to talk about the only reason you're there is because of your dad. And I know that they won't probably say it to your face because your dad is LeBron James, but that's what every single person is going to be talking about.
Yeah, probably doesn't deserve to be there, but that's the way it goes in big business.
And ultimately, isn't what's best for Bronny LeBron's responsibility?
I think what's best for Bronny is if LeBron said,
wants.
go back to college.
Exactly, yes.
Go get experience. Go play. And then at some point, if I'm still... Like, when is LeBron James going to retire? Is it next year? I don't think so. Is it a year after that? Probably not if Bronny isn't drafted. He's going to wait until his son is in the NBA. I truly believe that.
I just think that, too, you should just want what's best in that situation. And that's a lot of pressure to put on where you say, well, I want to play with my child in the league. That's great and all, but you're thinking more of yourself in that situation rather than what's best for your son or your child.
Isn't that amazing, though, to be in the NBA and have that happen? It's amazing anyway, like when you have baseball guys that do it. But in the NBA, it's incredible.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Shams, by the way, from The Athletic reports that James has at least 10 workout invites from NBA teams, but he's only going to visit a couple of those, the Lakers and the Suns.
Yeah. Interesting. So take it or leave it, guys. Did you see that video coming out of Kylie Kelsey, who is Jason Kelsey's wife, where they were just trying to have a nice date night, and this woman approached them wanting to take a photo, and Kylie said, I'm sorry, like, we're just trying to go have a nice dinner. And then the woman went off on her. Take it or leave it. Not only did she ignite the Swiftie fans, but also ignited the Philly fans.
Oh, totally take it. Yeah.
You never go over or try to go after the queen of Philly.
Don't you think that they would have taken the picture, and I bet she said, let us finish dinner. This would be my guess. Let us finish dinner, and then once we're done with dinner, sure, we're going to take some pictures. That's generally, I think, what most sports guys do, and gals in this case. I get the impression that they were probably upset because this is their private time to an extent. Now, it's going to happen, but you have a standard answer. I'll get you after we're done with dinner. Happy to take that photo.
Yeah.
Pretty simple.
And then also sometimes I'm sure with celebrities like that it starts with one photo and then other people notice, and then your nice evening stroll turns into all of a sudden taking a million different photos with people.
All right, Bobby Witt, Gold Glove level play, electrifying, leading the surprising start of the Royals. Kyle Tucker, 18 home runs. Best plate discipline in the league, very selective. Gunnar Henderson, 17 home runs, great defense, crushes lefties, all-around great player. Take it or leave it, baseball is in good hands with the new superstars that they currently have in the game. Maybe the best that they've had in a long time.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Big time.
Not even talking about Ellie De La Cruz. You're not talking about the young man. Well, both Cincinnati and Pittsburgh. It's short. I mean, Yamamoto is another one. Yeah, Mason Wynn, Imanaga. I mean, this is a time in which young players are kind of the next wave of great players in the game today.
And we haven't even gotten to Jackson Holiday yet.
Yeah, he's coming.
Yep, for sure. No doubt. Matthew, what do you got on the text line?
Sure he is. Take it or leave it. If the starters, including our ace, only go 5 innings on a regular basis, the bullpen will become a reliability by the 4th of July.
I don't know if the 4th of July, but yeah, it would if the starters only go 5 every night. And that's why you're happy to have Kyle Gibson going 6 on a regular basis, why Sonny Gray, until the last couple, has been able to give you reasonable innings, and why Lance Lynn is ultimately, hopefully, going to be a 6-inning guy. The Cardinals have 3 of the top 27 innings guys in the Major League Baseball.
I think there's a couple of things really 3 things I look at. Big leads. If you can get into big leads, it's going to help you manage your bullpen a lot easier, even if your starters don't go deep. So last night, to your point, Randy, you were able to sit the big 3 and give them a little rest. Matthew Liberatore going to your bullpen can give you multiple innings if need be. And then also Keenan Middleton, if he comes back. Apparently he's coming back to St. Louis for more imaging on his forearm, which is not good news. But if you got him back at some point, that would be extremely helpful for this bullpen.
And I know that Giovanni Gallegos also has been throwing. What would you need to see from Gio to have a little bit more confidence in him in the pen?
I'd have to see velocity.
Yeah, and I do think that because of his confidence level, and admittedly it was down, might be a good thing to send him down for a full rehab.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since he's pitched, and longer time since he's pitched well.
If he doesn't throw harder, he's going to get knocked around all over the ballpark. He's got to get his velocity back some way, somehow.
Take it or leave it. This is how you solve the Cardinals' 5th starter problem. A concert and then 3 innings of Adam Wainwright every 5th start.
Oh, there you go. I like that. Every 5th start.
Yeah. Why not?
Let's
take
do it.
Hey, y'all. That's the album, right?
Yeah.
Just one song, and then he breaks the guitar over the dugout, and he goes out there and pitches 3 innings.
Now that's
It'd be
rock star
electric.
stuff.
The 509 says, Wayno used to come into the restaurant I manage with his family. I would ask my staff to let him eat. Afterwards, Wayno was always appreciative of that and would take the time with some fans after they are finished eating. And
Yes.
I think that's generally what a lot of athletes do, unless they get a private room and get shuttled through the kitchen and get back to their cars.
Yeah, that's a perfect way to handle that, honestly.
Yeah.
This is actually a really good one. I'm going to read. Take it or leave it. There needs to be a tax-adjusted cap in the NHL. There's a reason why teams in tax-friendly states like Florida and Texas are constantly in the playoffs, but Canadian teams rarely make it this deep.
I think there's some truth to that.
That's a good idea.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll
Let's
take
do
that.
it. So that the cap
That
is
was
equal
from
for everybody.
That was from 8
Yeah.
to 5 guy, by the way.
That was what?
That was from 8 to 5 guy, by the way.
Oh, was it really? Yeah,
it was.
Is he doing okay?
Good idea. We've got a lot of time to think
Got a lot of time.
about stuff like that, about
Yeah.
tax-adjusted caps. I think that's a great idea. I thank you, Matthew.
Thank you, Randy.
Now we're deep thinking over here. After
No more
that one.
take it or leave it?
No, that's all we got.
It's 7:59:34.
Well, what do we got coming up at 8?
What we
fresh
got
takes.
is, do you root for Jayson Tatum and Matthew Tkachuk's teams because they're on them? That's next on 101 ESPN.
Hootie fans, get ready. Hootie and the Blowfish, Summer Camp with Trucks Tour 2024. This Saturday, Hollywood Casino Amphitheater. Hootie and the Blowfish, together again. With special guests, Collective Soul and Edwin McCain. On sale now at livenation.com. A night of all the hits with Hootie and the Blowfish.
Step by step. New kids on the block are bringing the magic back. The Magic Summer Tour 2024. Donnie, Joey, Jordan, John, and Danny. Outdoors under the stars. Performing all their greatest hits and so much more. At Hollywood Casino Amphitheater, Saturday, June 22nd. With very special guests, Paula Abdul and DJ Jazzy Jeff. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Where are you going to be when the magic happens?
Summertime is the best time to enhance the appearance of your home. Banner Construction can make your home the showplace of the neighborhood with maintenance-free James Hardy siding and Pella replacement windows. Visit bannerconstruction.com or call 314-569-1050.
Our friends at NetSuite have a cool thing for you happening right here in St. Louis on June 27th. If you're an entrepreneur in town, listen up because NetSuite's Business Grows Here event is coming to St. Louis on Thursday, June 27th. Why St. Louis? Well, because NetSuite knows St. Louis is a hub for entrepreneurs like you with forward-thinking founders, a top talent pool, and pro-business leadership. Apply to attend the business event of the year taking place at the Union Station Hotel on Tuesday, June 27th, and you'll learn how Missouri is paving the way for new business growth and capital. See how technology, fueled by AI, is shaping the way we grow and run our business. And you'll be inspired by business leaders like Jamie Simonov. He's the founder of Ring Doorbell, and he is headquartered his next company right here in St. Louis. NetSuite by Oracle. Business Grows Here is free to attend if you qualify. Apply right now to find out because seats are going quickly. Block out your calendar for Thursday, June 27th. Apply at netsuite.com/Missouri. That's netsuite.com/Missouri.
Hey, Jay Delsing here. Join me every Sunday morning from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. for Golf with Jay Delsing. Brought to you by Darty Business Solutions. It's the biggest names in golf right here on 101 ESPN.
Hey, it's Danny Mack for Stewart's American Mortgage. Stewie right next to me, and we're talking about unique programs.
You know what, Danny? This is a big issue. People think I can't get approved. I can't get approval. We got programs for everybody. Just closed an ESPN listener. He didn't have any money on his tax returns. Buying an investment property was based on the rental income, not on his income. We got him closed.
Call Stewie on his personal cell, 314-324-4440, or you can Google the Bagel Loan.
NMLS number 226715.
Text us anytime at 314-399. Perspective on today's top stories. This is Fresh Take.
Presented by Lindenwood University. Real experience, real success.
It's 8:05 in St. Louis. Your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Brooke, Dan, and Randy. And it's time for today's Fresh Take. And Jayson Tatum was great for the Celtics in their sweep of the Indiana Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals in the NBA playoffs, as Tatum leads his team to the finals once again. And he's been great throughout the playoffs. And Matthew Tkachuk, his classmate at Chaminade, has been great for the Panthers. He was on the ice for the winner last night, had an assist. He was on the ice for 20 minutes, had 3 shots, plus 3 more attempts. He had a couple of hits, and he is just a difference maker for the Panthers. So as playoffs roll on and Boston plays and the Panthers play, I have become a fan of the Celtics because of Tatum and the Panthers because of Tkachuk. And I just wondered if anybody else felt that way. Do you root for our guys?
Oh, 100%. I think so, especially with them being Chaminade grads together. They were around the same class.
Yeah, there's a video of them going around that the NHL put out last year.
Yeah, it's really cool to see
Chaminade.
that. What's going on at Chaminade, by the way? I mean, is there something in the water there for that year?
Pretty good. Bradley Beal was there as well, and Rob Standard. I think he's still the all-time leading rusher in the state of Missouri.
Am I the only one that feels like Tatum should have been the MVP of the Eastern Conference Finals?
I think he should have. I think that Brown had that one game-winning or game-tying 3, and I think that kind of changed everything for that series.
He had a stronger series than Brown. He recorded 30 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, had a steal as well per game. And Brown, he had a strong stat line too. He had 29 points a game, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals. But I think, Randy, to your point, he made the big shot early on in that series, and that's what most people point to. It was interesting. As the game went on the other day, I was watching this. He went from minus 170 pregame to be the MVP, then 800, 1350, 2100 at halftime. So things move very quickly in the game of baseball if you're trying to help your friends with prop bets. So,
those very close friends.
The very close friends that I have, Brooke, that love to do those kind of things. But I don't know, man. I find it, I don't know if I root for the teams, but I pay more attention to the individuals for sure.
I root for the players. But the Panthers, I do find as a very interesting team. ESPN has an article where they call them the bad boys of the playoffs, and I feel like that's the best way to describe it. And I feel that just meaning circles back to Matthew Tkachuk because that's just the energy he has. Those are both 2 true game changers. From the 636, love Tatum, but can never root for Boston. Tkachuk and the Panthers have my full support, though. Also hope Vladdy gets another cup.
That's reasonable. I can totally understand why you would never root for a Boston team.
I find myself not only rooting for the St. Louis natives, but when guys leave the particular teams, and again, comes down to me just paying attention. I'll pay attention to what those former players are doing.
We love our guys. That's the difference between St. Louis and a lot of markets. A lot of markets, they root for the laundry, and they don't care once a guy leaves. And St. Louis, we love our guys, whether it's David Freese coming, well, any baseball player that comes back, right? Or when Kurt Warner got the standing ovation when he came back as a member of the Arizona Cardinals, or when Pronger comes back, or when, I guess, Shanahan got booed a little bit, but that's okay.
Hell, even Tyler O'Neill.
Right, yeah. Everybody gets a standing O when they come back here.
Is there a player that has left that you would say fans do not, and I'm talking about St. Louis fans, do not root for it anyway?
Gary Templeton.
Yeah,
that's the one that comes to mind for me.
Yeah, he didn't get standing ovations.
No, when you flip the bird to the crowd, that's probably not going to help.
Yeah, and it seems like because of the way that the Blues handled the Hull situation, and Hull left as a free agent even though he didn't want to, but the PR spin from the Blues kind of turned the Blues fans against him for a while, but then he got back into their good graces quickly until he became a Red Wing.
Not me. I loved him.
He's great. Yeah.
I loved him. Wherever he went, maybe I was in the minority at that time. I guess, Randy, you would remember better than I. I mean, I was around the team. I was doing Blues radio at that time. And that was tough to see. I mean, he was the face of hockey in this town, not just the Blues, but that building downtown is because of Brett Hull.
No doubt.
A big reason why it is because of the excitement that he brought to the rink every single night he played.
Yep. One other thing, going back to Tatum and Tkachuk, when the post-game interview is set to occur, the first guy is always Tkachuk for Florida, and it's always Tatum for the Celtics. And I wonder how much of that has to do. Obviously, Big Walt prepared his kids, not only for what happens on the ice, but off the ice, too. And a guy like Tatum had so much opportunity to spend time around Larry Hughes, former NBA guy. And those guys are not only good players, but they're very savvy with the media, too. And I wonder if that experience with basically growing up around professional athletes has benefited them greatly.
Oh, I'm sure it did. And of course I wasn't here, but I remember just hearing stories about Jayson Tatum. I'm sure you guys can add to this, where people knew in middle school that he was going to be an NBA player.
Yep.
I watched him play his freshman year, and everybody was like, that's an NBA player. And in the crowd was Coach K. He named the biggest coaches out there. I mean, they
Jim
all...
Cruz.
Jim was not there. It would have been nice if he stayed in St. Louis for a year.
Yeah, it would have been.
I don't know if it really matters anymore. I don't know if this is true or not. I heard he has not paid a dime, or spent a dime, I should say, of his salary, and that he just uses his endorsement money as his spending money, or that takes care of him. Yeah,
that's brilliant.
I don't know if that's true or not. I know Rocc has done that.
Yeah,
he's been vocal about that, very open about that, where his spending money or his living money that he, the money that he lives off of is done through endorsements and not through the money that he made on the field.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And Tatum is just so even keeled.
Yeah.
And it's just every time that and he does a lot of great work here in the town, by the way, for charitable efforts. Every time he comes in, he's super nice. And you could just tell that persona that he has, it's just who he is. He's just so even keeled. He doesn't get, too high, too low in any situation.
So I'm rooting for both of them. Even though it is Boston, I'm rooting for Tatum, and I am definitely rooting for Matthew Tkachuk, and especially if it's against Dallas. I want Matthew to take Ben out.
Oh, yeah. Well,
what? No, he can't. What? Come on.
I'm a Celtics fan. I always have been. So I'm all about it. When he went to the Celtics, I was all about it.
I was a Celtics fan until the Boston thing happened and the Patriots thing happened and all that.
You got to get over it, Randy.
No, I'm not.
I know, but you need to.
They beat us in multiple World Series. They beat us in Super Bowls. I don't. Now we got them once, but I think if Matthew gets or if I got to root for him to win. Darn it. Sucks.
This is interesting. The 636 said Pujols would have been booed very heavy if he came back sooner.
Yep.
I think there's a little truth to that.
I agree.
I still think he would have had a massive celebration of his return. I thought Major League Baseball, though, missed the opportunity. If Derek Jeter left the Yankees, they would have made sure that Derek Jeter would have been in New York immediately with interleague play. Now it doesn't matter.
18 or 19 that he came back. 7 years later, was it?
Might have been 8.
Yeah.
Maybe 7.
Yeah, so too long either way. It was,
And then it was a very nice standing ovation. But I think that it took time to get to that
the
point.
ice had thawed a little bit between the organization and Albert and the fan base.
Yeah.
So tonight we've got the Oilers and the Stars. We don't really care about anybody on those teams. And then tomorrow night, Rangers and Panthers game 5. You'll hear it here on 101 ESPN with Matthew Tkachuk taking on the New York Rangers. Matthew Tkachuk and Vladimir Tarasenko taking on the New York Rangers. That's today's Fresh Take. Coming up, is the Cardinals spot in the rotation, the 5th starter spot, getting out of hand? That's coming your way on 101 ESPN.
It's time for a DraftKings at Casino Queen Redbird report on 101 ESPN.
Brooke Grimsley here for your Redbird Report. The Cardinals bats came alive last night, leading to a 7-1 victory over the Reds. Mason Wynn's RBI double in the 3rd gave the Cardinals their first run of the game, extending his hitting streak to 17 games. Nolan Arenado blasted a 2-run homer in the 4th, and the Cardinals also got a 2-run homer from Nolan Gorman in the 7th inning, his team leading 9th of the season. Mason Wynn's RBI capped a 3-run 7th inning for the Cardinals. In the rubber match today, Andre Pallante will get the start. First pitch is at 12:10.
The Redbird Report is presented by DraftKings at Casino Queen. Play, stay, dine at DraftKings at Casino Queen.
Hey everyone, it's Brooke here for Decor Interiors and Jewelry. I know that Mother's Day has passed, but that doesn't mean that the gift giving has to stop. So you should go visit my friends at Decor Interiors and Jewelry. It's in Chesterfield at Olive and Woods Mill Road. Right when you walk in, you will just be blown away by all the options. If you don't already know, because I know it's in the name, but Decor Interiors and Jewelry is 2 stores in one, a contemporary furniture store and also an incredible jewelry store in the back. The owner, Joe, he is so nice and he is so friendly and he really will treat you like family. That's where I got my wedding ring, and I went by recently to pick out my wedding band, and I got sidetracked with Joe and his staff for an hour just looking at everything that they have in stock. Joe has a story and knows the background of every single diamond and gem and piece of jewelry in his store. What's big right now? Tennis bracelets, and tennis necklaces. Those are huge right now. And Joe and his staff, they know diamonds and they know gems. They always take the time to educate you on your purchase. So why not have them help you find the perfect gift for that special person in your life? Go stop by Decor's showroom today and tell them that I sent you. Decor, always unique, always affordable.
Yeah, Pallante will take that start. He's the freshest guy, so he'll go ahead and start tomorrow's game.
Today, the Cardinals play at 12:10 against the Reds, and Andre Pallante will become the 8th Cardinals starting pitcher of this season that's 52 games old. Gibson, Michaelis, and Lynn have all started 11 games. Sonny Gray has started 9. Matz has started 6. Liberatore 3. Zack Thompson 2. And now Pallante gets his first start. And with Steven Matz apparently out for some time, it does become imperative for the Cardinals to be able to slot somebody in there on a regular basis, and maybe Pallante will be the guy. But before this fifth starter spot spins out of control, the Cardinals need to get a handle on it and make sure that they have a guy that they can rely on. Now, I think the biggest thing they need here is innings. They just can't have a guy going an inning in 2/3 and getting knocked out. To me, you can't have what they hoped or what they had a couple of years ago with Oviedo. Remember Oviedo would get knocked out in the first or second inning all the time? You can't have a situation like that. So for me, the big thing today is Pallante giving them 4 innings, 5 innings, and then you turn it over to the bullpen once he gets in trouble.
Don't you think that if the answer was in the organization, I know that we have Pallante going today, but, a different answer, I'm saying, one of these younger pitchers, we've talked a lot about Sim Robertson and all the different kind of stuff. He probably needs some more seasoning. Gordon Graceffo, all of those guys, it seems like they need more time or else they would be here. If you don't have the answer inside your organization, should you go out and get somebody else at this point?
Well, trades just don't happen at this time of year. So it's really hard. I think Jim Bowden was saying that he doesn't remember trades like the Padres made with Cease and they win got a rise. He said that just doesn't happen even when he was a general manager. So I think if they're going to make a deal for a starting pitcher, it'll probably be closer to the deadline, certainly after the All-Star break. So they need to make something work inside, or they need to pick up a free agent.
I'm assuming that there are a lot with the Cardinals, a lot of folks with the Cardinals that would love to see them go outside the organization and bring somebody in and give Pallante a run, even though it's a stopgap at this point. I think they'll give him a run, maybe 2-3 starts just to see how he fares. Now, the Cardinals have an off day tomorrow, correct? Mm-hmm. So it's an off day tomorrow. You'd love to see innings from him, but you should be protected in your bullpen that if you have a lead after 4 or 5, that you feel a little more comfortable with Pallante on the mound, and you're just kind of buying time. That's the way I look at it, is that you're buying time potentially until you get that spot open again, and if there's somebody to go get, you go get them.
By the way, I wonder how mad they are and how much they'll cut off their nose to spite their face with Zack Thompson, who threw 5 no-hit innings last night for Memphis against Nashville. Sounds to me like they're just trying to punish the guy for losing the weight and losing his velo. To me, if the guy's pitching well, you don't worry about the other stuff. Either you get rid of him or you bring him up, but you can't do one or the other. He's right now, Zack Thompson in the minors, he's got a 1.82 earned run average, 24 2/3 innings pitched. He struck out 27, 5 no-hit innings last night. Why isn't he a guy?
I got to see velocity, and I hadn't seen it this morning. Normally I go through that with the minor league guys and just to see where they're at velocity-wise. But if his previous start, he touched a 97. He's been living around 92 to 93. And they're probably saying that ain't going to cut it at the big league level. You're going to have to throw harder.
It's just that with Zack Thompson, I think to your point, Randy, everything that has happened with him, it's just the handling of that situation. That was something that even John Mozeliak mentioned last season. It's just everything that they put him through, and you had him in the bullpen, and now you have this situation going on. I do feel for him in this situation because I think that he was a big part of this plan. And imagine, that Steven Matz is going to get injured. I think that everybody was hoping that Zack Thompson would be able to fill that spot, fill that void.
Well, they gave him a chance. He didn't take the ball and run with it. I mean, what do you want him to do? Go out there every 5th day and get pounded?
I'm just talking about the here and now. I understand sending him down and the loss of velocity. By the way, he did walk 5 last night, even though he didn't allow a hit.
And he walked 7 in a previous start, too.
Right. So he's not perfect, but might he be better than what you have been trotting out there?
I'm not so sure about that. I mean, he's given you, when you look at it, maybe 2 to 3 innings. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I mean, and he doesn't look sharp. Velocity down. I try to go into a different direction at this point until the walks are down, until the velocity is up. I got to take a hard look at maybe somebody else.
And they've got a thing here because it's amazing, and it happened with Liberatore last year. When pitchers get sent down, their velocity goes up, and then they get up here and their velocity goes back down.
Maybe they're trying to be too fine. I think that happens too. I mean, that could be a reason when you get back to the major league level, or it could be something that clicks down in the minor leagues. Maybe a pitching coach, maybe somebody that sees something with him, different set of eyes. That stuff happens all the time.
Maybe the gun is different.
Who knows?
But with Pallante, what is a reasonable expectation for him today? Because he has been doing fine in the minors, 2.20 ERA in 16 1/3 innings, although he has walked 13. What are you expecting from him today? Serviceable?
My hope would be that he can give him 4 innings with a chance to win the game. 4 innings, 3 runs. If they can get out of that with the bullpen giving him 5 innings today with the day off tomorrow, I would accept that.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think 5 innings and then turn it over to the bullpen.
5 would be great.
Now, if they have a lead, a sizable lead, then I push him. I just say, go get the 6th, go get the 7th, go as deep as you can until we run into trouble, because the bullpen, for the most part, should be rested, especially 7, 8, and 9, and it becomes a shorter game that you have to fill in. I do think, though, in watching, like Romero, he hasn't been as sharp lately. Kittredge, love him. I think it's been a great pickup for them, and then obviously Helsley has been dominant in the back end, but that's just something to keep an eye on as they move forward.
And with Steven Matz, I know that he still hasn't exactly progressed. What is a reasonable timeline for him?
I have no idea with him.
Back strain, they're saying that...
How long do you think he's had that?
Oh, Dan, I walked myself right into that one.
I have to check, but I think it's about a week back.
No, it's not a week back, and it's been multiple weeks.
It's been a while.
You can't say that, Randy, if it's been more than a week.
It's still been a week.
I know it is, but I'm just saying, it doesn't work.
It's still been a week.
Well, that's true.
He had the issue a week back, didn't he?
It's been over a week.
It's been a while.
Did he have the issue a week back? He did. Thank you.
Does he have a week back? He has an injured back.
That's true.
Yes, back
the whole
strain.
team has an injured back.
So anyway, Brooks, right?
Yes, continue to have he's throwing flat ground throwing sessions. So what do you think his process will be like to see him returning here soon?
He's missed a lot of time over the years where they expected him to be back quicker than he was, and so I'm sure that they don't have any idea. They're probably just waiting for Steven to tell them when he's good to go.
I would say he's got to make a couple starts in the minor leagues too. Build back up a little bit just to make sure he stays healthy. I would say that's part of the equation too, as they look to bring him back to the major league team.
Yeah.
And then you put him back in the bullpen, or is he back in the starting rotation? Because that's the thing, is that this doesn't seem like it's going to get solved that quickly for this number 5 spot.
He's
dependent on what. I think Pallante and some of these other guys that maybe get a shot at it, I think it's dependent on how they perform. That's what I would say.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
It's got to be about performance. By the way, also last night in that Memphis game, Jordan Walker with a couple of doubles. He went 2 for 4.
Good to see it.
He's up to 283 with a 721 OPS, but still no home runs.
That's shocking to me.
That's amazing.
I figured he'd walk into a home run or two, and with him not hitting a home run yet, that is just, he's played now more games in Memphis than he has in St. Louis. I just find it shocking he hasn't hit a home run.
92 at bats and no home runs. So the Cardinals will keep an eye on the system, and at some point they'll have a 5th starter. Maybe not. Maybe it'll be a merry-go-round this year.
You know, they kind of have done this in the past where under Mo, it seems like you try to find that stopgap, which buys you time, and then when teams start to look and unload is when you get a chance to maybe go get somebody.
Yeah, that's Dan. That's Brooke. I'm Randy. Coming up, we've got a potential Hall of Famer in the fight.
No pressure, Randy.
No pressure at all.
Who's this, Peter?
It is.
Peter. All right, Peter.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Are you
Bring
shaky?
your A game.
Shaky.
You look pretty shaky over there, Randy.
Yep. Oh, here. No. Solid as a rock. But I shoot with this hand.
Oh, my God.
Are you nervous?
What a reference. Yes. What a reference.
I am. The fight is coming your way next on 101 ESPN. If you are thinking about enhancing your career possibilities with postgraduate education, unlock your potential with Lindenwood University Online. Affordable programs for working adults that are 100% online. You can get credit for prior learning experiences to earn your degree faster and learn more at lindenwood.edu. Now, when I went to Lindenwood, we didn't have online learning, but I would have loved to have used it because they have affordable, industry-relevant online programs that are perfect for working adults. 35-plus online programs taught by industry experts committed to your success. They do a fantastic job of presenting the online program and making it easy for you and fitting it into your schedule. And the online program at Lindenwood works with students to apply credit for a prior learning experience, and it's the top-ranked online MBA program in Missouri, according to Fortune Education in 23 and 24. It is amazing, the online education at Lindenwood. You can learn more at lindenwood.edu. It's online.lindenwood.edu. Again, if you'd like to get your Lindenwood education, get your postgraduate degree, online.lindenwood.edu.
This is Rocky with your Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Cardinals yesterday with a 7-1 win over the Reds in Game 2 of that series. They'll look for the win today in Game 3 as they have a 12-10, I should say, first pitch. Last night in the NBA playoffs, Minnesota Timberwolves survive over the Mavericks 105-100 to stave off elimination. They're down 3-1. Game 5 will be in Minnesota on Thursday. Panthers also got a big win over the Rangers 3-2 in overtime. They tie that series up at 2 games apiece. You can catch the Oilers and the Stars Game 4 on 101 ESPN tonight. Pregame starts at 7:30. That is your Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American standard heating and air conditioning deal.
Welcome back to the opening drive. Brooke, Dan, and Rockio here, and we are ready for the fight. Peter is back again today with a shot at the Hall of Fame. Are you nervous, excited? What is the feelings right now, Peter?
I'm surprised more than anything else. I've been very lucky.
Well, are you ready to go? I mean, this is a nerve-wracking situation, a chance to be a Hall of Famer, to tell your family and friends that, yes, I beat Randy Carricker. I mean, this has got to be a monumental moment and morning in your life.
all downhill from here.
No, I bet. Let's make sure you win.
No, it's only going up from here. You ready for question number 1, Peter?
Let's do it.
There is only one active player with double-digit career ejections sitting far and away at the top with 21. Which National League outfielder holds that mark? Is it Tommy Pham, Bryce Harper, or Fernando Tatis Jr.?
Bryce Harper.
Josh Gibson has taken over a number of season and career Major League Baseball records and has changed the record book for catchers. Prior to this change, who held the career batting average record for catchers at 323? Joe Mauer, Mike Piazza, or Johnny Bench?
Well, I figured there'd be a Josh Gibson question, and it's not Ty Cobb, obviously. Joe Mauer.
Final answer?
Final answer.
All right.
Who is the all-time leader in kickoff returns in NFL history with 9? Leon Washington, Dante Hall, or Cordero Patterson?
Cordero Patterson.
All right. Question 4. Which eventual NFL MVP made college bowl game history when he became the first player to ever pass, run, and catch a touchdown in the same game? Was it Cam Newton, Marcus Allen, or Steve Young? And this individual did this against Mizzou.
I'm sorry, can you repeat those?
It would be either Cam Newton, Marcus Allen, or Steve Young.
Oh, I don't know. Let's say Cam Newton.
All right, let me go grab Randall. How are we feeling on this very potential monumental day in your life?
Not feeling good. Feeling good.
Feeling good. Yeah, you never know. You've made it this far, and it's not just by luck. I'm going to say that, Peter. You've been a strong competitor. And here comes Roddy. I was put trotting and Randy together because you were trotting, and it threw me off for a second. So Randy trotting in right now with his grapes. I don't see any red grapes today, but you finished the bag, so that's why. Say hi to Peter again.
Peter, good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing well, Randy. How are you?
I'm doing good. Good luck today.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for participating. Thanks for listening. Thanks for playing.
You ready for question number 1, Randy?
Ready.
There is only one active player with double-digit career ejections sitting far and away at the top with 21. Which National League hitter holds that mark?
I believe that would be one Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper.
Of the Phillies.
Of the Phillies, formerly of the Nationals.
Question 2.
Yes, Dan.
Josh Gibson has taken over a number of season and career Major League Baseball records and has changed the record book for catchers. Prior to this change, who held the career batting average record for catchers at 323?
A 323 career average. I don't think that's Mike Piazza, but it might be. I don't know. I don't think that he hit 323 for his career, though. I don't think it's Benito Santiago, though. I don't think it's Ted Simmons. I know it's not Ted Simmons, Dan.
No.
So I will. I'll do the lifeline.
Joe Mauer, Mike Piazza, Johnny Bench.
Well, it's not Johnny Bench. And I thought the Mauer was at 308, so maybe it is Piazza. I'll go with him.
All right, final answer.
Yeah, even though Mauer won a couple of batting titles. But
Question 3.
He moved to. He also moved to first base for the second half of his career.
DH'd a lot too.
Yeah.
Yep. Get hit.
Yeah.
You ready for question 3?
Ready.
Who is the all-time leader in kickoff returns in NFL history with 9?
Kickoff return touchdowns?
Mm-hmm.
Because if somebody only had 9 kickoff returns and that's the record, that would really be...
That'd be scary, wouldn't it?
It would, yeah. I'm going to go with the new Hall of Famer Devin Hester, who did it in the Super Bowl, by the way.
Did it against the Colts.
Yep.
That rainy day, and then it was Prince.
In Miami, yeah.
Halftime, right?
Yeah. Purple Rain.
Purple Rain coming down when he sang Purple Rain.
Yeah. So you've got Hester and Mitchell and Reed. But I think I'll go with Devin Hester. He was a pretty prolific kick returner.
Ready for question 4.
Ready.
Which eventual NFL MVP made college bowl game history when he became the first player to ever pass, run, and catch a touchdown in the same game? And he did it against Mizzou. Who was it?
M-I-Z. So pass, run, and catch. And he wound up being an NFL MVP.
Correct.
At some point in his career. And did it against Mizzou in a bowl game, correct? Okay. Let's put some thought into this, shall we? Who had a great game against Missouri? Oh, heck. There's got to be somebody who was pretty good at some point. Bowl game. Catch, run, and who would have done that against MIZZOU? I can't even think of it. So let me just think of some MVPs that were kind of versatile and did things like that. Because like Tim Brown never played against us, and he never won an MVP either. So I'm thinking it's got to be a quarterback, and Mark Herman didn't do it. So you know what I'll do? I will go with. Man, it's hard to think of an MVP that played against Mizzou in a bowl game. So let me just go through some MVPs here, and we'll nail it down. It wasn't Patrick Mahomes, clearly. Man, this is a great question, and I don't know the answer to it, Dan. So I will go with. I don't think George Rogers ever won an MVP. Mark Herman didn't do it against us. We played in a lot of bowl games. Oh, you know who I'll go with? Oh, he wasn't an MVP, though. Darn it, I was going to go with Deebo Samuel, but he wasn't an MVP. Heck, I'll just... we never played TCU. I don't think we played TCU. Minnesota? I don't have any idea. So I'll even though we didn't play TCU, I'll just, in the essence of time, I'll go with Marshall Faulk.
Matthew, do your thing, please.
No tiebreaker today. We have a winner in today's fight. So, does Randy Carricker stop another Hall of Famer? Or do we have somebody else who enters into the Hall? Does Randy Carricker walk away with a win? Or is it Peter's big day? Ring that bell.
The winner and still champion of the fight, Average Joe Listener.
The fight is presented by Golf Discount of St. Louis. With the most experienced club fitters in town. Why shop anywhere else?
Congratulations, Peter. You got 3 wins in a row, which means you are now a Hall of Famer of the fight. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you. I'm taking the rest of the day off.
Well done, Peter. Well done. You can enjoy that day, that's for sure. Let's go through the questions and answers. Let's see how you got to the victory today. Wow. Only one active player with double-digit career ejections sitting far away from the top with 21. It is, in fact, Bryce Harper. Tim Anderson is next in active career ejections with 9. Wow. I like how fiery Bryce gets. Josh Gibson has taken over a number of season and career Major League Baseball records and has changed the record book for catchers. Prior to the change, as just a catcher, Joe Mauer hit 323 when he was playing as a catcher, which is the highest mark for a career in a catcher. The record actually came down as he switched positions and started getting injured a little bit, but as a catcher, it was 323. Mike Piazza's 308. Had that right off the top of your head. That was impressive. Who is the all-time leader?
Except I thought it was Mauer.
Oh, yeah. Did you say that for Mauer?
Yeah.
I double-checked it, and I was like, Piazza, 308. Perfectly. The all-time leader in kickoff returns in NFL history with 9 in the regular season is Cordarrelle Patterson, which eventual NFL MVP made college bowl game history when he became the first player to ever pass, run, and catch a touchdown in the same game. It was the Holiday Bowl. And it was the grandson of the man, or great-grandson of the man that the university is named after. Steve Young did it in the Holiday Bowl against Mizzou. He obviously would then go on to be a long time ago. A pretty solid NFL quarterback. So a big win today for Peter, and that means Peter is a Hall of Famer. And also, Peter, that means you're coming back tomorrow, and you got to do the fight Randy style.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
We'll talk to you tomorrow.
The Steve Young one, does that one bother you? Because I know you know that one.
No, I didn't. Didn't know.
Really?
I wasn't paying attention, apparently.
Huh.
Yeah.
I thought for sure you'd go through that great mega mind of yours and come up with it.
I don't remember Mizzou playing BYU in a bowl game.
I think it was 1983. Is that right?
Right on the nose.
Did they win the championship in '84? BYU?
I believe that's correct.
So, yes.
Okay. I don't know if Steve Young was still there.
It's going to kill me. I can see Lavelle
Edwards.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, Lavelle Edwards and...
So,
all right.
Sorry, I'm trying to find quarterbacks.
That's all right, Matthew. We can look it up during the break.
Robbie Bosco, Blaine Fowler, Mike Young, and Steve Lindsley was the quarterback room.
Oh, yeah. That was in '84?
Yeah. I'm guessing Mike Young is Steve Young's little brother?
I don't know, but probably related to Brigham.
Yeah.
Probably right.
I would think so. Congratulations to Peter. He is a Fight Hall of Famer. Next up, there are rumors, unsubstantiated, and by the way, the general manager of the Senators, Steve Sayos, says they are BS, but there are rumors that Brady Tkachuk could be available. Is there a package the Blues could put together that would cause them to not get hung up on? That's next on 101 ESPN. A couple of months ago, I had a car that got totaled, and I needed a new vehicle, and I didn't have a trade-in, obviously, because I did have a total. So I went to AutoLoanPro.com, and I put them to work, and I found a new vehicle, and I'm very happy with it, and I'm very happy with my experience at AutoLoanPro.com. They said, what would you like your payment to be? How long would you like it to be? And within reason, we can work it out for you. And they did. They gave me a payment that I'm very happy with at an interest rate that I'm very happy with, and they can do the same thing for you. With little to no money down, they're going to work to get you the best rate possible. And they're working with over 50 lenders to help you get the very best financing. And if you go to AutoLoanPro.com, not only can you find deals on loans, but you can also find cars there. They sell cars at the website. Download the AutoLoanPro.com playbook and find out what you can do to get the best deal on a new vehicle for you. Financing a car, there's one thing to know. Choose the Auto Loan Pro, like I did at AutoLoanPro.com. Brooke, Dan, and Randy. And during the season, there was a Spittin' Chicklets report from Ryan Whitney that said that there was his belief that Brady Tkachuk was on the market by the Ottawa Senators. Steve Staios, the general manager of the Ottawa Senators, as those rumors have bubbled up to the surface again during this offseason, says that the rumors are complete BS. So if you're the Blues and you're hearing their general manager say that these rumors are complete BS, you're trying to overwhelm them. So what do you do if you're Doug Armstrong and you think that you can get a great difference-making player in Brady Tkachuk? Now, you have to know that he's probably going to hang up on you. So you need to make an offer.
Yeah. So why are we talking about this?
You need to make an offer where you have to overwhelm them.
An offer he can't refuse, you say.
Yeah.
Well, I would assume that they would want some young players in return, but young, talented players. Would it be a Kyrou or Robert Thomas that is a part or the centerpieces of this trade? I'm saying one or the other, not both.
You'd have to start with one of them, and the best of those two. If Steve Staios is dead set against trading Brady Tkachuk, I would think Thomas would have to be where you start.
There is no way I would trade Robert Thomas. No way.
Not even for Brady Tkachuk?
No, not yet. Nope, I would not. He's going to be such a centerpiece of what they do moving forward. And don't get me wrong, Brady Tkachuk is a great player, and he's done very well with the Ottawa Senators. But I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up Robert Thomas. Plus, he's a member of the show. That adds a lot of value to why I'm saying this. But I think Robert Thomas doesn't get enough credit. What he did 5-on-5, the way that he's just getting better and better. He's moving into the prime of his career. He'd be one guy I'd say you can ask for players, but he's one guy you cannot touch.
He's
no
a
way.
part of your core, your untouchable core. I think
sure.
that would be Robert Thomas, Colton Parayko as a part of your core, and Jordan Binnington. But at the same time, could Jordan Binnington be a part of this trade? Is that something that's an option?
He sure could. I wouldn't think if you're Ottawa, you want players to build for the future with. I don't think you do so with a 31-year-old goalie.
You're kind of looking at me like I was crazy on the Robert Thomas thing.
I think Brady Tkachuk is a really special player that brings things to the table that Thomas doesn't. Thomas is a great offensive player, and his 200-foot game is improving. The Blues need grit. And here's Brady Tkachuk. He's younger than Robert Thomas, and he's a guy that will scrap. He's a better version of what Braden Shen was in his prime.
I think that he's untouchable. If I'm the Blues, there is no way I move on from Robert Thomas. That's just my opinion.
Robert Thomas has put in the work. To your point, Dan, he has put in the work, and he continues to get better every single season. And the fact that he was able to be the Blues' #1 center this year and handle that role so well, and he was shooting the puck more. That's another thing that we saw. It's just every single year, it seems like he assesses his game really well and continues to grow. Jordan Kyrou, I think that would be the one that you keep seeing over and over again that could be an option. But I don't know.
You get hung up on.
You get hung up on with Jordan Kyrou?
Yeah, if Staios gets that call, he's hanging up.
Yeah, I would wonder. I'm really curious about this offseason with what they do with the goaltenders. If you're the Blues, like, do you feel that Joel Hofer is ready to ascend to be a #1? And then at that point, when you think that you're getting into postseason play, maybe not next year, but the year after that, he's in his mid-30s, like 33, 34. I'd be curious what that could get you on the open market. So I understand that people are excited about the potential of moving on from Brady Tkachuk, and I would be too. I mean, if they wound up getting him, I'd be there and say, you know what, that's a hell of a deal, and you brought in a difference maker. But I can't start with Robert Thomas. I just my opinion, I just can't move on from that guy. It's too good.
Yeah, from the 218. Can't get rid of Tkachuk's buddy, Robbie Tommy, which he doesn't like being called Robbie Tommy.
Right.
We discovered that, but we still like to call him Robert Thomas or Robbie Tommy. It's destiny that they play together. They are really close. I see more of a benefit of them together, honestly, on a team.
Then I would think that they would be together in Ottawa.
I'm not moving Robert Thomas, Randy. I got to state that fact again.
I think he's a very talented player, but I do think that the Blues need some personality on this team, some Stanley Cup type personality. Robert Thomas,
he won a cup.
He did win a cup as a third-line winger. I don't know that. I do know he doesn't bring the sort of grit that the leaders of the teams in the playoffs have right now.
I can find it, though. I'd like to find it with bigger defensemen, which I know that everybody's looking for. And I'm not making like this great revelation of a statement, but you know what? They need to get bigger on the blue line, and that's where I would look at my grit. That's where I would improve it. I want to say this again. I mean, if you got Brady Tkachuk, I'd be in the front of the line saying, what a great move. Mm-hmm. I just wouldn't do it with Robert Thomas. No way. Not for me.
If either one of these teams is calling the other team for their star number one center who's under the age of 25, it would be Ottawa calling the Blues for Robert Thomas because they're in a better position to make a move, give up one or two young players, and then actually compete than the Blues are. The Blues would be in a better spot trading Robert Thomas for like 3 young Ottawa players than they would be in trading for Brady Tkachuk because there's not a way that they can trade for Brady Tkachuk and actually build the way they've been planning for the last year. I just don't think those things are congruent in any way, shape, or form.
No, they aren't. But that wasn't what the segment was about.
Fair.
It's, what do you offer Ottawa that doesn't get you hung up on it? Apparently there isn't anything. Because what the Blues would be, what it would take, the Blues would be unwilling to offer.
And if I'm Ottawa, the first guy I ask about is Robert Thomas,
right,
for me. And then I don't know what the rest of the league's appetite would be for Kyrou. I don't know if that would be something that, you know, a GM says, yeah, if we get him a change of scenery, we get him with this coach, all of a sudden we're going to get the most out of him in what is a big contract. I don't know if there's an appetite for a team to do that.
Well, let's look at it from this perspective. If you get a guy with that sort of a contract, you're doing it to win a Stanley Cup, right?
That's a good point.
So let's just spin this forward a little bit. We know a guy that knows how to win a Stanley Cup. If you offer Jordan Kyrou to Craig Berube, is he taking him?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I'm going to say no.
So that's all you need to know.
Yeah.
That's probably what the league thinks.
I would say the majority of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. It takes one taker, though. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah. How much do you think the league listens to? Because coaches are recycled so much, but they're still staying in the league, right? It's just become the norm, especially with if you look at the Craig Berube situation, now he's in Toronto. How much do you think that the league listens to what he has to say about some of his former players?
I think any coach, any assistant, I'd go to agents because players talk to each other and they're represented by the same agent. They know what's going on. Mm-hmm. They have a good feel what's happening in a locker room. They have a good feel of what kind of player they're acquiring. Not to the full extent of those that have that player, but I think they have a pretty good understanding of what they're getting.
And every team has guys up in the press box every night. So the scouts that have played the game are watching these guys on a regular basis.
And talking to each other.
And so they know. Everybody knows what everybody is capable of in the league.
Mm-hmm. But I'm saying even specifically that point of working with specific players, how they responded to practices or maybe even criticism or different things like that.
Yeah, that's the one thing. Sometimes if you don't know that stuff and you see that a guy has talent, then a coach or a GM will say, well, we can fix him. You know, a guy like, who was that first-round pick of Edmonton, the Russian guy, the first overall pick a few years ago?
Niall Yakupov?
Yeah, Yakupov. Blues thought they could get something out of him. Couldn't.
Yeah.
Right? Sometimes there are guys like that out there. Sometimes you do get a lot out of them. Sometimes you don't. But if a guy has talent, sometimes teams are willing to take a chance on him.
And the one thing, though, with Kyrou, if I'm an opposing team, I better do my due diligence on a $64 million player.
Yep.
Which they're going to do. They're going to make sure that they check every box that potentially could be out there to bring him to whatever situation it is.
Yeah. And see, that's the thing. If you get a Tkachuk brother, you don't have to worry about that. You know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. Right?
So, but I think that Steve Stais is a man of his word. I don't think that Brady Tkachuk is going anywhere, and I don't think Matthew Tkachuk is going anywhere. And I think both of I would not be surprised if at some point, if Ottawa gets everything else fixed, if those two play against each other for the Eastern Conference Championship.
If you're Ottawa, how do you get rid of Brady Tkachuk? If you feel like we're close, we're going to make a run in the playoffs, you can't get rid of that guy.
No, he's got
no chance.
He's got the whole package. Point-a-game guy, almost a point-a-game guy. He's big, he's tough, he's gritty. He wants to win. He's your captain. He's one of the nicest people in the world, one of the most generous people in the world. He's a great ambassador for your organization. It would be foolish of them to move a guy like that.
Yeah, maybe it doesn't happen, but you never know. We always say that, and then the right offer comes around.
Who would have thought that Buffalo would have been stupid enough to trade Ryan O'Reilly here in his prime, right?
Yeah.
It has happened. That's Brooke. That's Dan. I'm Randy. Coming up here on 101 ESPN, we've got the Rush Hour Reset. Hey, it's Danny Mack on this Wednesday for Stewart's American Mortgage. Now, if you're someone who is looking to purchase a home or refinance, or if you're looking to consolidate some of that ugly credit card debt, maybe you don't know exactly what direction to go to in any of these things, let me make it easy for you. Call Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage. And how about this? Stewie has called us this morning. And what do you do, Stewie, if you don't have good credit?
You know what, Danny? We're going to talk about something that's out there people don't know about. How about if they don't have any credit at all? We had a veteran call us and say, hey, I've been paying cash for everything. I've been in a situation. I want to buy a house. Can I buy a house without having any credit? And the answer is yes. You don't need a credit score. You don't need anything. You have to show some kind of demonstration of paying your rent on time and similar, but nothing big on your credit, no score. And the same thing, if you're not a veteran, we have an FHA product, almost 100% financing. VA is 100% financing with no credit. So these opportunities are there for you. If you haven't built up your credit score, you're young and you haven't done it, or you're older and you always pay for cash, you can still get a mortgage on the house of your dreams.
And we always talk about the bagel loan. If you borrow $200,000 or more, there's no underwriting fees, no appraisal fees, no title fees, no lender fees, no closing costs. Hey, Stuart's your guy. He makes it easy. Any questions on rates, the industry, the trends? Give Stuart a call. His personal cell phone, 314-324-4440. 314-324-4440. Or Stewie, what can you do? You can Google
the bagel loan.
That a boy.
NMLS number 226715.
Recapping the biggest sports stories of the day on the opening drive with a Rush Hour Reset.
9:03 in St. Louis. Time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Brooke, Dan, and Randy. And last night, Kyle Gibson was great for the Cardinals again. He's had a tendency to do that this year. He was the winner as he delivered 6 strong innings, allowed 1 run on 2 hits, struck out 6 and walked 2. Cardinals got 2-run homers from Arenado and Gorman, the 2 Nolans, both with 2-run homers. And the Cardinals win it 7-1, a 12-10 game today. And the Cardinals will try to get a win with Andre Pallante on the hill.
Oh, yes. Pallante. Who's excited for that one? Nervous, excited?
Yep.
I want to watch
You need it to work out. basically.
I want to see what he can do. I think if he gets a lot of ground balls, then he's on. Now, sometimes ground balls find holes, but I'm looking forward to that. And then going back to last night, hard to believe for me, that was the first home run that Nolan Arenado has hit against a lefty this year. He came in hitting 190 yesterday against lefties with 3 doubles. So you talk about a guy that maybe gets back on track, and that certainly would be the case with Arenado. Gray, Gibson, Lynn, now nearly 200 innings and a 3.5 ERA. Pretty good pickups right now for the Cardinals.
Yes,
looking
really
good. And last night for Memphis, 5 no-hit innings for the Cardinal lefty Zack Thompson. He did walk 5. Daniel Guerrero of the Post-Dispatch reporting that he got up to 96 miles an hour in the early going. And so the velo was there for Zack Thompson. Now he just needs to turn it into consistent production and hope that he hasn't ticked off the Cardinals too much.
Consistent. I mean, if he can hit 96 consistently through 5 innings, then you got something. If he's not, then he's a reliever.
Do you think he's put back on some more weight?
Who knows?
I could help him.
What's your advice? Well, okay, we'll go over to Randy's Nutrition Shop. What is Zack Thompson picking up?
In terms of weight, how does he do it?
To help him, yeah, because you're a nutrition shop. So
well,
you're going to help him.
burgers, first of all. I mean, he's in Memphis, so you can have some of those toasted Elvis Presley peanut butter and banana sandwiches.
Go to Rendezvous.
Go to Rendezvous, get some barbecue. And then, as we've mentioned on the show, for whatever reason, the Jumbo Reese's are out there right now, Zach. So that's dessert.
I would say it's probably been a combination of weight loss and bad mechanics all coming together and just being the perfect recipe not to have success. I don't think it's all about weight loss, but I think it's definitely probably this would be my guess, a lack of mechanics, and got away from things that made him successful as to why he wasn't throwing harder, and he wasn't throwing harder early in the season.
Yeah, we didn't really worry about Pedro Martinez that much.
No, he
was kind of skinny.
He seemed to work for him.
Yeah.
There's been a bunch of guys that have worked for.
Yeah.
So probably mechanics if you're going to go deep dive on this stuff.
So we've discussed drive line, which is, we've talked about this, where players, they, of course, have outside help, especially during the offseason. Zack Thompson went to drive line. There was video of Paul Goldschmidt stopping by drive line this offseason. If you're the Cardinals, is there a way that you could advise maybe these players not to go to drive line?
No.
Well, you could advise it, but
you could say,
you could advise it.
Would the advice be accepted? No. Now, one thing the Dodgers have done is the Dodgers have like 60 different stations where the people that the Dodgers have employed are doing the exact same things that players would get from Driveline. So the Dodgers say, you know what, don't go up to Seattle. Stay here. Stay in L.A. We've got a setup for you where this guy, man X, is going to do the exact same thing that Driveline does, but it's under our instruction.
I think, too, it's up to the player. If they're comfortable with that, then it works. If they're not, then they go outside and maybe their agent sets up something, or maybe they've worked with a particular coach in the past that they have found success with. I think it's up to the individual.
Well, and I think one of the things that it's incumbent upon baseball to do is to provide that level of instruction during the off season. Because the Cardinals, they have fewer coaches in the minor leagues than anybody. And so they don't even have as much during the regular season as other organizations do. So my anticipation would be that they probably don't have that sort of teaching during the offseason. So that leaves the player who wants to get better to go to Driveline or whatever the outsourcing might be.
There's a ton of guys that do it, though. I mean, it's across the board in Major League Baseball. And certainly an organization, I would think, would say, we'd love to keep you in-house. We feel that this is the best instruction, and I'm sure that they feel that way anyway. But the players, where they live, I think something dictates that. And if they're comfortable in a certain situation, they just continue to go there.
Now, if Driveline does cause a negative reaction for you, which
switch
it would
it up.
appear that it did for Zack Thompson, then you have to look for something else. Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, switch it up, find the comfort level, and they can look at every level of spin rate, arm angles, velocity, all these different things, and you're probably going to get the same readings I would assume that if you're the Cardinals in this example, that they're going to get a drive line, but is there an individual that you feel comfortable with to correct certain things or to stay consistent in what you're doing that you like?
A young Roger Clemens, literally out of the blue, called Nolan Ryan.
Exactly.
And went and worked with Nolan Ryan. And if you're a young Zack Thompson, why not call Clayton Kershaw, who's your hero, and say, hey, can I spend a week with you?
I bet he maybe has tried.
Yeah.
Well, I doubt it. He's probably too humble to try to do something like that. I mean, that's a big ask. But
it is.
You know what? It's your career. Why not do it?
I would like to know what you do.
There you go.
Yeah, I would like to know what you do to be successful because I patterned myself after you.
Cardinals have a chance to get to 500, fifth time that they would look to get to 500. They're 6-7 inside the division, so that's something to keep in mind. I want to go back to Gibson just for a moment.
Big game, Gibby Jim?
He finds a way to make a pitch when he needs it. And I know that's cliche, but man, does he do that. And his command is really good, keeps guys off balance, and he's fun to watch. I enjoy watching him pitch.
There's not many pitch makers left.
No.
And he's a guy that he understands the art of pitching.
Did you guys notice him last night? He wasn't even looking into the catcher. I know they've got the stuff in their ear and they're going back, but I mean, he immediately got the ball back and just either started shaking his head or nodding in approval, like, this is the pitch I want. This is what we're going to do. Conviction with your pitches. It seems to me that he has that when I watch him pitch.
And that's why it's another asset having around. If I'm one of those young pitchers, I'm going to Kyle Gibson. I'm saying, how do I last as long as you do, where he's able to keep his career going in this way?
Right. Glom on to him and follow him and try to emulate every single thing he does. If you're a Pallante, absolutely. You do that.
Every time that we've talked to him, too, he is so insightful. And I know that, of course, you would say that, but you can tell that he's a great teacher. And people even said that about him with the Orioles, is that was another added value of having him, is that he works with those young pitchers and he really wants to.
Yeah, he's a great guy to have, especially on this team in St. Louis. He's a great guy to have on this team. And I thought it was notable last week because he listens to the show, and at the end of the interview, he thanked us for calling him a pitch maker because that's something that he's really proud of.
If I'm a young pitcher, I'm at the hip of Lance Lynn, Kyle Gibson, Sonny Gray. I watch what they do. I watch what they do in between starts, but then I'm just picking their brain. I got nothing else to do when I'm in the dugout.
There's your play if you're Zack Thompson. Just go to Lance Lynn.
Just go sit with him. Find out what he eats, put on some weight, and then start throwing 102.
Find out what he eats.
NHL playoffs last night. Panthers over the Rangers in overtime 3-2. That series even at 2 games apiece. The Timberwolves staved off elimination by beating the Mavericks 105-100. Game 5 in Minnesota tomorrow. And that's another opportunity for the Dallas Mavericks to advance to the NBA Finals.
I want to say one last thing, going back to Lance Lynn and what you were talking about with Thompson. Maybe Lynn could tell him the story about what happened when he lost some weight, because you've told that story before.
Oh, yeah, man, that was skinny Lance is just, he wasn't as good.
No, it didn't work out.
No, and he was in great, I mean, he ran steps with Carpenter. So he was in great shape, not just skinny, but he was in great physical condition. Just doesn't work. The same thing happened to Fernando Valenzuela. Skinny Fernando was never as good as fat Fernando was. Just happens. But if you're a pitcher, be fat. That's all there is. One other thing, Major League Baseball has officially decided to include, as we heard during the fight, the stats of Negro leaguers as major leaguers. So Josh Gibson now becomes the all-time leader in OPS. He's the all-time leader in slugging. He's taken over about more than a half dozen categories, and multiple Negro League players and pitchers over the years are included, which is the way it should be. They weren't allowed to participate in the majors. Everybody who saw them says, yeah, they were as good as the major leaguers or better. So this, to me, is the right thing to do on the part of Major League Baseball.
Batting average 372. I find it amazing. Like, if I said to my kids, do you understand that African Americans were not allowed to play baseball in Major League Baseball, they wouldn't have any clue. They would, and so to me, this is a way to remind people about the social aspects of our country as well. It's not only important for baseball, but I think it's a reminder that things were not right, and they've, to an extent, gotten this right. But man, it's taken way too long to do this.
It's huge. I was actually surprised when I saw that yesterday. I kind of always assumed that already happened, and I'm glad that it's finally happening because we always talk about Jackie Robinson, and rightfully so, but now I feel like people will be able to appreciate some of those other names that were out there that also helped change the landscape.
You guys been to the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum?
I have.
Yes.
It's great.
It's unbelievable. Bob Kendrick has given me multiple tours behind the scenes, and he's made this his life's work and passion. And I always say it, if you're going to a Kansas City game from St. Louis, make sure you stop there. It's well worth it.
It is. And Joe Posnanski wrote a book called The Baseball 100, and I believe he had Josh Gibson #1.
He did.
As his best player ever.
I believe that's correct.
So if you want to check that out, there are numerous Negro League representatives in that Joe Posnanski book. Coming up here on 101 ESPN, Dan watched the David Beckham documentary on Netflix, and we want to know what each other's favorite sports doc ever is. But what's yours? Text in 314-399-9646, 314-399-YO-HO, with all the 30s for 30s, with all the great HBO and Netflix documentaries. What's your favorite sports documentary that you've seen? That's next on 101 ESPN. Our friends at Chesterfield Fence and Deck are celebrating 56 years in business, and you don't stay around for 56 years unless you're doing it right. And Chesterfield Fence and Deck has been doing it right for all of St. Louis since 1968. And you can find out about what they can do at chesterfieldfence.com or give them a call at 800-300-4054. They offer fences and decks, sunrooms, screen rooms, patios, retaining walls, and pergolas, and everything they do is fantastic. And that's how Chesterfield Fence and Deck has gained an A-plus rating from the Better Business Bureau. Everything they do is covered by a 5-year labor warranty and comprehensive material warranties as well. So if you want to turn your patio into a sunroom, you can do it. They'll provide you a free, no-obligation project design when they come out to your house, and you'll love the work that they do. And not only do they do sensational work, but you can get a great deal. Mention this show and Randy on 101 ESPN and get 48 months interest-free financing from Chesterfield Fence and Deck. On the web at chesterfieldfence.com. Call 800-300-4054. Chesterfield Fence and Deck. I use them. You should too. The sign, you have the very best.
Hey everyone, it's Brooke here. I want to share with you something that I wish I knew about a while ago, and that is Golden Oak Lending. Listen, we've all been there before, racking up credit card debt and maybe even student loans. I know that I've been there, but the people over at Golden Oak Lending, they are there to help you. While credit card payments have been at an all-time high and mortgage rates have gone through the roof, there is good news. Mortgage rates have started to come down. Golden Oak Lending has mortgage rates at 5.375% fixed, with customers saving on average $1,114 a month, which obviously is huge for anyone. And Golden Oak, they make the process just really easy. I was able to call in and speak with Jayson, and he was so nice and super professional. He educated us on our current loan on our house and what to look for in the future. Finance has really never been my thing, so I was a little nervous to talk to him, but he really made it super easy. He also made sure to educate me and guide me on the best solution for my needs, and that's what they do there at Golden Oak Lending. Personalized service that makes you feel heard and really addressing your needs and stress stress surrounding finances. So call today at 314-567-GOLD now to get started, or go to goldenoaklending.com and see the reviews for yourself and where to get started there. 5.934% APR, FHA, 15-year fix with 20% equity and qualified credit. Additional terms apply. NMLS number 114937.
Danny Mac was up late the other night and was compelled by the Netflix documentary on David Beckham. You loved it, eh?
I loved it. He wasn't Canadian, though.
Eh? No.
No. He was overseas guy.
Oh, okay. Overseas? Well, over lake or over river. Whatever.
Yeah, I got you.
So what did you love about that doc?
I just didn't know, like, his personal history and growing up and the pressure that his father put him on and put him through to get to the level that he was. And then the really worldwide phenomenon that he was for what they call football instead of soccer. But I didn't realize just how big it was. I knew it was big. I didn't realize how big it was and just what he went through with the paparazzi, the pressure that was on him, leaving certain aspects of clubs that he played for, coming over to MLS with LA and the impact that that made, and now what he's doing with Miami. So I found it really compelling after I took the whole thing in, because I just didn't know that much about him. And I want to learn. I want to be taught something when I watch these, and I was.
And then also adding in Posh Spice.
That was big.
That was a big part of it as well. Adding to the paparazzi and everything. I mean, they really were.
Did you see it?
I did, yes. I thought it was interesting. I will say one thing that they kind of glossed over when it came to their relationship. They touched on it a little bit, was the cheating allegations, but they still didn't fully address it head on. That would be my only one big critique about it.
And that was when he was in Spain.
Yes. And so they kind of told about like how he was obviously in a bad place.
Yeah. And you got to see him behind the scenes, which I love, with his family and where he lives now and the kind of place that he lives in, the fact that he's got a field in his backyard. I want to see it when it's, pull the curtain back a little bit and see what it's even like right now.
I really enjoyed, before 2004, The Curse of the Bambino, HBO, and Ross Greenberg has done so many incredible sports documentaries, but that was one of them. They also did one, and he did one on HBO about the 1980 U.S. Olympic hockey team, simply called Miracle on Ice. And we mentioned it yesterday. The movie Miracle is basically a ripoff of that documentary, except in the movie, they don't have the part where Herb Brooks is walking out the door and he says, if you lose this game, it'll stick with you for the rest of your blanking life.
Right.
The rest of your blanking life.
I think the precursor to all these was Hoop Streams, or whatever that was. And seeing those two kids coming from different backgrounds, one plays in the public high league, the other one goes to a private school, where they're at, socioeconomic issues that they had, but one being able to go and potentially play at Marquette, where the other one's trying to figure out where he's going to go play college. He goes to a JUCO. The stuff that's behind the scenes, I love, because you can, like in the 1980 documentary, which I thought was fabulous, it's one of my favorites ever, is that you had the players talking about it in the past, where if you talk about it in the moment, and I can see that, that's different. That's what I love.
Oh, I have a list for you guys.
Okay.
It's hard for me to kind of narrow it down, because this is one of my favorite things ever. I love docuseries. I love crime stories as well. So when you're able to do crime and sports, it's two of my favorite things. When I say crime, I'm not saying committing crime. I'm saying I love true crime stuff. I don't know know why. It's just one of my favorite things to, I guess, enjoy to watch. That sounds weird. I'm not finding a good way to phrase this, but I feel like a lot of people are into true crime now. Randy's judging me. But when you're able to combine both of those, so OJ Made in America.
It's my favorite ever.
Oh my gosh. That one was so eye-opening. One, because of everything with OJ, but then also it helped me understand more of what was going on with the public and how it really divided people.
I've always
in many
wanted to
different
know
ways.
what wound up on the cutting room floor.
Here we go.
Oh, okay. Anyways, next one, Killer Inside. This was one of the most shocking ones. Did you guys see this one with Aaron Hernandez? Just before I say the joke, before you say the jokes, the Killer Inside, the mind of Aaron Hernandez. Did you guys watch that one? That was one of the more shocking ones because you already knew what happened, but then the backstory psychologically of what was going on with him, and then also, spoiler alert, his best friend that he grew up with and played football with, that stuff was very surprising to see happen.
Yeah, that was really well done.
Pumping Iron, another one of my favorites. Tiger, I talked about that yesterday on HBO. I know that Tiger obviously wasn't a part of it, but I like kind of learning when you're talking about behind the scenes, Stan, just really what makes players tick, what happened even with them growing up that made them into the person, the player, the star that they are today.
I thought The Last Dance did that well, too.
Yeah.
Having that isolated camera that was with the team and some of the things that you learned about Michael Jordan. You had heard about this great competitor and just he competed in everything that he did. But seeing behind the scenes is what I wanted. Take me into those rooms. Take me behind the scenes.
The one about Steve Bartman, the 30 for 30 catching hell.
It's kind of sad.
It was, but the amount of video that they had and the way that they did take you behind the curtain for that was really remarkable.
Could you imagine today, in this day and age, with the cameras, and there was some behind the scenes shots of when they're trying to lead him out of Wrigley, but with cameras today, with the phones that they are, everybody would be on him. The footage on that would be incredible.
Yeah.
It really would. Docuseries wise, did you guys ever watch Last Chance U? That was one of my, I was obsessed with that show because it was the way that it was edited. And that honestly, is what really makes these documentaries and stuff. Of course, the storytelling, you have to have compelling characters, but the editing has to be really good too when it comes to the storytelling. And the way it made you really root for players during that, because for those who haven't watched Last Chance U, it's JUCO players getting another shot. I watched specifically the football version of it.
Me too.
And you were just rooting for those guys. And then they would perfectly edit it to where you had a big game for them where maybe this was their chance and you were hoping for them. Some of them failed, some of them didn't, but it was just one of the best character development series that I think I've ever seen.
It was really well done.
You saw it?
Yep.
You see the Hoops one too?
I did not see the Hoops one.
That's a good one too.
I didn't see that one either.
It's good. I like the football one more, but just seeing these kids, man, it's aptly named. It is their last chance to try to make it back to Division I. And some of the kids that come from really rough backgrounds, and they show that. I just find it amazing behind the scenes what they can do.
This text from the 309, the Aaron Hernandez doc also revealed a lot and didn't leave you hanging.
Randy, did somebody check his phone to see if he's the one that sent that in?
I don't have a 309.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's you in some way. This is what you've encouraged. Now, it did reveal. If you haven't watched that one, it is a crazy ride, I guess is the best way. Because you already knew what happened, but to see everything. Somebody also said, I lost it, but someone texted in, 618, worst was Swamp Kings. That was disappointing.
I didn't see that one.
You didn't?
We also have on the YouTube, Yingling Mike, quote unquote, I love crime. All right, guys, time to start looking for all the open cases around STL. Probably Brooke.
No,
I do want to go back and clip off. I love crime.
There's no good. As I was saying, I was like,
I love crime.
This one from
I was like, I'm not framing this. I'm saying true crime.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
Only real ones that like actually happen in the world. Those are the only ones you like.
It's like I told you guys. I want to try to solve it, and so then I like to listen to the cases.
I mean, you have all the facts. It'd be kind of easy for you to solve it if you're
but
like
I'm
right there.
But I'm talking about I love unsolved true crime. Oh, that sounds weird too.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, we gotta move on from this.
From the 314, my favorite documentary was Long Gone Summer, documenting the 1998 home run race. I loved it, but the thing was, I lived it, so I didn't learn anything from it because I was there the whole time.
Yeah,
and so as cool as it was, I think for somebody who wasn't there on the inside like we were, it would be a lot more revealing and fun.
I would think so too. Interesting the perspective, though, in that from those that were around, because they were friends of ours. A lot of the people that were interviewed were friends of ours, so it was interesting to get their perspective.
And I know we talk about like documentary series, and obviously 30 for 30 has been incredible, but right when I started, like right when I got cable and NFL Network was right the same year they started the America's games. And those things are so formidable for me as a football fan. And then they went back and they did America's games on the teams that didn't win. Like they did one on the 2001 Rams after having obviously the one on the 99 Rams, talking about, the season where you got so close and then couldn't get there. Those ones were incredible and gave you so much background that had never been kind of brought up.
I thought the recent Patriots documentary was very well done.
The thing was, and I thought it was well done too, but apparently there was just so much more. And the players, everybody involved was upset because they didn't think that the whole story was told. And you never know, right? But apparently the editors kind of picked and chose what they wanted the players to say about Belichick.
Would you rather watch a documentary or a movie?
Documentary.
Me too.
Yeah, I also, it's going to be documentary. Obviously,
Obviously,
I'm very obsessed with documentaries.
No, just any movie, and then with a documentary.
Okay.
I do like biopics.
Interesting. Me too.
Have you watched Iron Claw yet?
I have not seen that.
Oh, it's really sad. Have you watched it, Rocchio? Iron Claw?
Not in the 24 hours since you asked me last. No, I have not watched it.
I forgot about that. I'm sorry. I'm just checking to see if you watched it
You
yet.
checked yesterday. I was like, I feel bad that I haven't watched it yet. I got to knock it out tonight.
Obviously, a very memorable conversation. But Iron Claw, I watched that this weekend. It's good. Remember the Von Erich brothers back in the wrestling days? It's about that. It's really sad.
Weren't the Von Erichs at Wrestling at the Chase for a while?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were they really?
They were. Yeah.
Wow. You're doing the Iron Claw now.
Yeah, Iron Claw. Yep.
I want to watch that one. I'm gonna check it out.
It's sad.
The Ric Flair one is really good.
The Dream Team documentary, by the way, the original Dream Team documentary, and actually the Redeem Team one might have even been better.
That was good.
Yeah.
How about when Kobe says, "I'm going to run right through Pau Gasol"?
Oh, that was great,
and he did it.
Yeah,
and they were teammates.
Yeah,
that clip is insane.
And when all the guys are out coming in at 5:30 in the morning, and they walk past the gym at the hotel, and Kobe's working out.
Yeah. Pretty good stuff.
They've been out in Vegas all night. It was really good.
My favorite part of the Dream Team one has to be like it's just the indelible part of John Stockton being completely unrecognizable to everyone on the planet and the only one on that team who was.
Yeah, it was great. So those are some of our all-time favorite docs. Thanks for your texts. We do appreciate them, and always good ones. I think more now than ever showing up with Netflix building their resume of documentaries, and HBO, not as prolific as they were, but 30 for 30 is still going strong. So there's a lot of good ones out there.
I guess Ken Burns' baseball would be one of the first ever, but I thought Hoop Dreams was kind of the precursor to what we see behind the scenes and taking you step by step of what you do.
I'm excited to see the Hard Knocks version of baseball coming soon. It's the Red Sox that they're covering,
yeah,
correct?
Right. Yeah.
I'm very interested. I wonder how much that we are going to be able to see behind the scenes there.
Are you guys going to believe the Jerry Jones documentary coming up? The 10-part?
No.
I'm not either.
No. Who's putting that on? Is it NFL Networks or is it somebody else?
No, it's with NFL Films, but I think it's Amazon that's doing it.
And they now have a hand
NFL
in
rights. Right.
TV games. So that would, and I'm probably not going to believe a lot of that I see.
Hard to believe. Coming up, do we have a Cardinal lineup? We probably don't have a Cardinal lineup, but we'll hit the Cardinals' fifth starter, who's going today. And has Sonny Gray convinced the masses that he's a legit number one? That's next on 101 ESPN. if you want to sell your home and you want to sell it for the most money and sell it more quickly than you would with another agent, you need to get in touch with the best agent, Gloria Liu, with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. And here's why you should give her a call at 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888. Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty says it all. Gloria has mastered the home selling promise by guaranteeing upfront and in writing to sell your home at your agreed-to price and time frame, or she'll buy it herself, guaranteed. Does your agent compare? Now, Gloria's going to have solutions for every kind of home seller out there. If you want a fast sale with no hassles, her 24-hour cash offer solution is a great option to consider. No showings, no costly repairs, and you pick the closing date. You always get the highest cash offer bid from Gloria's database of buyers in what she calls her cash offer bid box. She'll come up with a perfect plan to sell your home. Visit her online at GloriaHasTheBuyers.com or call Gloria at 314-325-6888. Gloria Liu, Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty at GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
This is Rocky with your Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Cardinals yesterday with a win in Game 2 of their series against the Reds, 7-1. They will face off against the Reds again today in Game 3 of this series as they go for a series win. It's 12-10 first pitch, and the Cardinals will face off against Frankie Montas. Andre Pallante will toe the slab for the Redbirds. Overnight, the Minnesota Timberwolves survived in Game 4 of their Western Conference Finals matchup against the Mavericks, 105-100. They're still down 3-1. Game 5 in Minnesota on Thursday. Last night in the NHL playoffs, the Panthers tie up their series at 2 games apiece with a 3-2 overtime win thanks to Sam Reinhart. And tonight on 101 ESPN, Oilers and Stars, Game 4. Pregame starts at 7:30. That is your Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
Everybody fired up about Andre Pallante going against the Reds today, 12-10 game? Yes. Yeah, we're all fired up about it. And the Cardinals have their lineup out, so that means we have to play the lineup game. We're going to start now because it might take some time.
I don't like this because this is a day game. This is, I feel like this is where things get a little crazy.
I think with the day off tomorrow it might be a little bit easier for us.
Okay. You think normal to what we typically see?
I think so.
Even though it's a getaway day?
Yep.
Well, Goldie or Arenado, one of the two has to sit or DH maybe. Then you get a 2-for-1.
Yeah.
I don't want to sit Arenado after seeing him homer last night, but
Goldie's hot.
Goldie's hot. You got to keep him in there.
I'm gonna. Against the left-hander, I'll Marp's plan.
Frankie Montas is the starter for Cincinnati. Lefties are hitting .295 against him. His OPS against is .851. Right-handers hitting just .213 against him. He's only given up a couple of home runs. So my guess would be you're going to try to load this thing up with lefties.
I would think so. So Brendan Donovan to lead off?
Yes.
Interesting thought process there. We're going to go with Brendan Donovan leading off?
Yes.
Oh, wow. What a way to lead off.
But where's he playing?
Brandon Donovan leading off.
We'll figure this out as we go.
Also known as Brendan.
You don't get to know. Apparently, I did that one time. I told people the position. They're like, "Man, you're making it too easy."
Yeah.
So, okay. So that's
the texters have to kind of thing complain about.
By the way, we did have people text in today saying they were wondering if he was injured or not because he exited the game. Oli Marmol addressed that afterwards, and it was more of a defensive change, I believe, is what was said. So no injuries, I guess.
He looked, though.
He did.
I don't know, man. He did not look comfortable running. I thought something was up. And if that's the case, I'm not sure that I would put him in the outfield. Maybe he's going to play infield.
Maybe
I'm
not
deep
telling you,
thinking this.
I'm not allowed to tell you position, apparently.
All right,
so
I'm
holding back on you. Sorry,
deep
Tom.
thinking.
You got to think about the two-hole, not the defensive spot for Brendan Donovan.
Newt, number 2 again?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nicely done. Lars Nootbaar batting second for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Okay. I'm going to go with what they did last night then. I'm going to go Goldie hitting third.
Yep.
Yeah.
And very well done. You guys are on a roll. Goldie hitting third for the Cardinals.
Okay, so now with Arenado hitting the home run last night, do you put him back in the 4-hole or do you keep Herrera there because you scored 7 last night?
Keep Herrera there, right?
I'm going Arenado. Moving him back up, putting him playing, starting third base. Ladies and gentlemen, Nolan Arenado, give it to me. Thank you
Sorry,
very
you're
much.
wrong.
Okay, so then Herrera.
I think Herrera's
Again?
in.
Where's Burley going to play?
That was my other question here.
If Carp is in, and I bet he is, then Burleson's got to be playing left field, and then Donovan moves to the infield. If Arenado's not in there, so then if let's say he's not the DH, Brendan Donovan's got to play. You want to play Gorman because he's a lefty, Donovan a lefty, so maybe Donovan is at third base?
But maybe you have, for this particular spot, for the number 4 hole, maybe they go back to Herrera. You think?
I don't know. I'm going to load up my lefties. Well, I could have 6 lefties in the lineup if I wanted to, so it doesn't matter.
It's not hard to find lefties on this
Brooke,
team.
What do you think? Are you going to go Herrera or somebody else here?
I was going to say Herrera, but maybe.
Herrera or Burleson?
I'm going Biscuit.
Now Burleson, I don't know. Dan's convincing.
He was an 0 for
convincing me.
last night, though.
I don't care. I got to have lefties in there. I'm going to say that Arenado, I guess, is not playing.
I need to see some conviction here.
Okay,
so
let's
Donovan
do
goes to the
Herrera.
infield.
Let's
Give me
go
Burley.
We're going Burley?
You want Burley?
I want Burley.
Okay. Burley.
Hey, Alec
good.
Burleson batting in the 4th hole. A change in the 4th hole for the first time in the last 5 games.
Okay.
Oh, well,
Arenado.
Totally normal. Yeah, I'll go Arenado here.
So here's the thing, though. Hold on. What are you going to do with you got 2 lefties?
Danny takes this so seriously.
I love diving into this
Keep
stuff.
going.
So that means I'm going to sit either. Well, I would have said Donovan. I'm not going to sit. So I'm not going to sit Gorman.
Are you going to really? Are you saying sit Arenado?
Yeah.
Really?
Well,
After yesterday?
It makes sense if he's not in the lineup where I thought he was going to be.
I think we got to vote for Arenado here.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, okay. Danny, you got it. You
not
called
batting
it.
5th.
So
Sorry.
it's got to be Gorman.
So he's not playing. Arenado's not playing if he's not hitting the
I
top
hate this
5.
game. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that.
You can hate the game. It's no big deal. It's not my game.
Okay, so
I don't care.
Nolan Gorman.
Hate the game. Not the player.
2-run shot.
Oh, Nolan Gorman. There's a Nolan in the 5 hole.
You're right. It's okay. Now we're loaded up.
See, I should have just said Nolan.
You should have.
Okay, so
Dang it.
Now I'm going Carp. So if Arenado sits, Carp is my DH. I'm going Carp in this spot. Although I may need to stagger a righty here.
Whoa. Okay.
You're lefty, lefty, right.
Here's the thing, Dan.
How far down are we going to have Herrera in here?
Yeah, I probably can't go that far.
And the other thing is, can you have Donovan, Gorman, and Carpenter all playing?
I just thought of that, so that's why I got to stagger them.
So
yes,
then
you can.
Herrera?
Because you can put Carpenter at DH, Gorman at second, Donovan at third. If Arenado's not playing.
There we go. Okay, there's your play. Yep. Okay, good call. Let's.
So in the 6th hole, who's batting there? Who's batting 6th?
I'm going Ivan Herrera.
Yeah, Herrera.
Nicely done, Danny Mac. Locking in right now to this
Herrera
lineup.
Yeah, you're
Herrera.
Herrera.
There you go. There you go, Brooke. Nicely done.
I'm trying. I got 1, okay?
All right, 7th.
Got to be Carp.
Bottom 3.
Yep. Carp DH.
You're on it. Matt Carpenter is batting 7th, and the bottom 2 spots for the Cardinals lineup.
Well, you have to have
Wynn and
Ciani somewhere.
Win.
Mason Wynn.
There it is. Mason Wynn batting
17-game
eighth.
hitting
And
streak.
that means that batting ninth is, in fact, Michael Ciani. And Danny Mac, you hit the positional changes absolutely right on the head. Brendan Donovan leading off, playing third base. Lars Nootbaar batting second, playing right field. Paul Goldschmidt batting third, playing first base. Alec Burleson cleanup, playing left field. Nolan Gorman fifth, playing second base. Ivan Herrera is behind the plate, batting sixth. Matt Carpenter batting seventh as your DH. Mason Wynn at shortstop in the 8th spot. And Michael Ciani rounds it out, playing center field. field, batting ninth for your St. Louis Cardinals.
Is it Newt in right and Burleson in left, or vice versa?
Newton right, Burleson in left, and then as Danny broke it down, Brendan Donovan moves to third base with Nolan Arenado out of the lineup, and then Gorman still in there for you as well. So
Well
you get
done. There's a lineup game.
You got 6 out of 9 lefties.
Good Lord. There's a lot happening there. So Lynn Worthy last night said, Ollie Marmol said Brendan Donovan came out of the game because they were going to make the change for the defense in the next inning. They wanted to take advantage of Siani's speed on the bases by making the change when they did. Donovan is fine, Marmol said.
Good. So he'll be at third base today.
I want to see Arenado play after the home run last year.
Yeah, especially after he said, you know, how much he needed that, and then he finally does that.
You give him a little mental break. Maybe he doesn't, it's not a matchup that they like, but this is a perennial all-star in Nolan Arenado. I don't know. I'd love to see him back out there, but they have their reasons.
Yeah.
Do you think that was more of a Nolan call, or just kind of the organization, Ollie, saying, you know, just you have a chance here to get some rest?
2 for 1, probably mutual. He says, yeah, sure, I'll do that.
And then he gets to play in Philly in that little other bandbox.
Hit a hit for the cycle there in Philly.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So maybe he'll do that this weekend.
There you go.
Or this week. All right, coming up next, we've got Matthew and Rocc and Roll here on 101 ESPN. Happy Hump Day, and if you are looking for a great place for maybe after golf, maybe lunch today, happy hour, or dinner, head to the Fenton Bar and Grill on Rudder Road in Fenton. I love Fenton Bar and Grill, and one of the reasons I do is that they have the best trash wings that you'll ever have. Try them with the signature golden sauce or their fabulous ranch, and you'll enjoy that great precursor to some great food that you have. And when you go to the Fenton Bar and Grill, you're just going to love the staff there. The manager over there, Chuck, has put together an incredible staff, and you'll love talking to the people who are going to serve you today. Kelly and Megan and Alicia and Colleen, the whole crew over there is so friendly and will serve you with a smile. And when you go in, a great place to watch the game today. Cardinals playing at noon. Stop in, enjoy some of those wings and a great lunch, and watch the Redbirds. They'll be on all afternoon on all the TVs at the Fenton Bar and Grill. It's 2 minutes away from the soccer park on Rudder Road. Learn more at FentonBarandGrill.com. And when you go, tell them Randy sent you. Hey, if you're looking for a way to enhance your ability to connect with potential clients and customers, you need to get in touch with 2060 Digital. It's a sister company of 101 ESPN, backed by a 100-year-old media empire, just like 101 ESPN in Hubbard. In the fast-paced world of digital marketing, you need to make meaningful connections with your audience, and that can be challenging for any business. Those challenges go by the wayside when you work with 2060 Digital. What they're going to do is provide you a stellar, state-of-the-art website. They're great at building websites. Social media, they've got the plan. They've got the science behind having a great social media setup. And here's another thing they can do is when somebody Googles something and your company isn't at the top, that hurts you because people go to the ones at the top. Well, at 2060 Digital, they can set up the algorithm so that when somebody Googles, one of the first things they're going to see is your company. 2060 has 12 years of experience. They specialize in simplifying the complexities of digital marketing. Get in touch now by going to 101ESPN.com/2060Digital.
Let's rock. Let's rock today.
All right, you already know the Cardinal lineup. Cardinals playing at 12:10 against the Reds, the finale of the three-game series, the rubber game of this series. Since he won the opener, Cardinals won last night. And so hopefully the Cardinals can come away with a victory and reach the 500 mark.
Reds have also activated TJ Friedl.
Oh, he's a good player.
Very good player. They were counting on him early in the season, but he's been activated and maybe in the lineup today for the Cincinnati Reds.
All right. Matthew, what do you got for us?
I got to bring up a quote from a man with a lot of power in college sports, because obviously the House case, it looks like it's going to be wrapped up, which means that there's going to be, in some way, shape, or form, some kind of collective bargaining coming to college sports, because apparently you can do about $20 million a year, and that's what we know right now. I'm sure there's a lot of things to come. Greg Sankey on Monday was asked about the collective bargaining with athletes, and he says that would require employment. And he says, quote unquote, "I've not had a student athlete come to me and say, I want to be taxed like an employee." This quote jumped out to me because it was just another one of the college football power brokers saying something extremely ignorant about something that seems kind of obvious, which is if you're getting paid NIL, you have to pay taxes on it. And so I don't know why paying taxes is now the new line in the sand for Greg Sankey of like, well, they can't be employees because then they have to pay taxes like employees. It's quite literally a moving goalpost every time. And the fact of the matter is Greg Sankey doesn't want to talk about the fact that to collectively bargain with a group, and to do revenue sharing, you have to collectively bargain. And to collectively bargain, they have to be a unionized group of employees. That's where this is going. I can't see any other way how with revenue sharing, you don't eventually get to collective bargaining.
I would think that most schools, like Mizzou does, have a tax person in place to provide assistance and advice for players that are already making money. Paying taxes is not going to be anything new for players that have earned NIL money.
Got to pay taxes.
No,
everybody pays taxes.
Yeah,
unless you buy a car and keep your temporary tag for 5 years.
Yeah, that could happen.
Can we?
It's a very, very niche exception we're talking about right there. But
I've already used that as like a sick of it a million times. But even this morning, I saw one that expired in January of this year, and they were speeding and ran a red light. It always happens. They're not up to any good.
Okay, I saw a pickup truck yesterday, not yesterday, but last week, that I thought was doing it right. If you just want to be brazen about it, it was a pickup truck, and all it had was a Kansas City Chiefs license plate on back. Didn't have any temporary tags or anything. They just wanted to show their Chiefs fandom. They had no license plates whatsoever.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
It was great.
Can't do that.
Well, they did.
I guess you somewhat applaud the effort of keeping on your temporary tag, but yeah.
You don't have to pay taxes. So I had to go in right away when I reached, I had to pay mine on May 14th, right? That's what was my expiration date. I went in and gave them the $1,000 or whatever it was, and paid my taxes, and I got plates.
Well, because then my assumption is that you also can't afford car insurance, which would scare me. And that's, on a serious note, that's what really bothers me, because then if you get in a car accident with that person, what are you going to do in that situation?
Yep.
You're kind of screwed.
So we've moved on from athletes and getting paid by colleges.
Yeah, we kind of went other places
complaining, there. Get off my lawn. Okay, Matthew, what else?
It was one of the things which Sankey did an interview yesterday when people were talking to him about the private equity. I don't know if you guys saw last week, there was a lot of reports that there are private equity firms that have been going around certain campuses in college kind of pumping up how they can inject the money into the school and then how are they going to get their money back and all this stuff. And Sankey did the responsible thing and kind of pushed back on how don't be looking for quick fix for money. This can be dangerous with private investigators. But in that, he intimated that don't worry about, the people coming in promise you money. And I know there's talks of this Super League, but don't worry about that. And I think that might be the first time that somebody that high up has even thrown out this idea that somebody's working in the background to create this super conference. I think this is maybe the first time like a conference person this high up has acknowledged it, but apparently it's getting real enough to where Sankey is now kind of mentioning it in passing as to something that is in the background, but that they don't want to come to the forefront.
Wow. So private equity will own college sports just like they own.
I don't like that.
Again, credit to him for actually pushing back on private equity, because that is weird. And listen, if you're an athletic director and you've been letting a private equity firm go around your campus and make presentations on this stuff, I'm questioning what you're doing as a job. Your job is to secure secure long-term funding for your athletic department.
You can get that from the private investment fund, can't you? Saudis could own college
Did you really
sports.
just go piff on me? He went full on.
Oh, yeah.
They got more money than anybody.
Could you imagine if that happened?
Oh, my God.
Would it be a surprise?
No, because they've even come out and said that they're working on sports watching.
Sacred.
And then even, didn't the NFL say recently that they are looking to have a game in Dubai?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I did not see that.
Yeah.
No.
There was reports of that, yes.
By the way, our buddy Mike Claiborne texts in. He says that Pallante will be piggybacked today by Matthew Liberatore.
Oh, okay.
So that's Liberatore threw 14 pitches on Monday.
That sounds right.
So he'll piggyback Pallante today. I don't know how long Pallante is scheduled to go, but it'll be kind of like a spring training game.
Hey, Claibs, thanks for doing that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Give us some inside info.
Yep. Thank you, Matthew.
You're welcome.
Great job today by our producer, audio, video engineer, the one, the only Matthew Rocchio. Brooke, did you have fun today?
Yeah.
I'm glad you're smiling. Does Stevie do this?
She does.
Yeah.
I always like to find. She does it with squirrel noises, so I'll play squirrel noises for her.
Good.
And she'll do that little head tilt.
Good.
Matthew usually says pleasure.
Oh, sorry.
Oh. I kind of changed things up on him a little bit.
All right. Just checking.
It's my pleasure.
Daniel, you're the best.
Oh, no, you are.
No, you are.
Mutual Admiration Society here, Randall.
It is. That is Dan. That is Brooke. That is Matthew. And we thank you for tuning in, texting in, and being a part of the show. By the way, we don't have just any balloon party coming up. We got a party coming up with McKernan and Josh Innes. It's going to be wild. I mean, if you have never heard wild before, it's going to be wild radio. It's just going to be crazy. It's going to be, I'm going to listen. That's how wild it's going to be.
What about Burkett? Is he a part of this too?
Is he? I don't know.
What about Jackson?
Yeah, Jackson's here today. He doesn't have to be here tomorrow or Thursday or Friday, but he's here today.
Good.
Good.
We're looking forward to this. And we thank you for tuning in, texting in, and being a part of the show for all of us until tomorrow morning at 7. Have a great hump day, St. Louis.
Bring gas.
Unfortunately, there's little opportunity for youth with disabilities in our region to play baseball and other sports because of a lack of adaptive facilities. Well, that is about to change. The Gateway Region YMCA is partnering with Cardinals Care and the Boniface Foundation on construction of a state-of-the-art adaptive sports complex that's going to include a Miracle League baseball field, inclusive playground, and multi-purpose field. So kids and adults with disabilities can play sports.